Welcome to the Pod Bay Door.
Greetings, programs. Thanks for tuning into the show. This is the Pod Bay Door. You can find us on iTunes podcasts at the Pod Bay Door, as well as the Pod Bay Door YouTube channel. Or you can try us on the Podbean app or your favorite podcast apps. Our show is dedicated to providing you with honest info on the newest tech, movies, games, and, of course, Las Vegas news. And today, your podcast crew is Adam and Sam. Hey,
How you doing?
Jamie's out of town this week. So in his spot, we have returning guest Chris Felix.
Hello. Thank you
How
for
you
having
doing?
me back. Doing great, thank you.
With Jamie off the show, we're actually going to skinny it down a little bit. We don't really
Change
have
it
the
up.
comments, that's normal, but, we're going to have a fun, and we're going to just kind of...
We'll wing this. I think we'll survive.
We still got our own, we're going to cover the Gear Grinders and the Las Vegas 3 like
classics.
normal,
Mm-hmm.
and then we got some good, theater chronicles. We got some stories from back in the day that we'll share with you guys. We got some classics.
Are we allowed to due to legal issues? I just want to double check the statute limitation.
We've been out of the business for long enough, I think.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
know?
cool.
Yeah.
It's
We
been
don't
like
have to
15
worry.
odd
We
years.
don't have to worry about like...
Well, plus we're in
Stepping on
Vegas,
toes
so
or-
there's like a bajillion lawyers we can find, right?
Johnny Brennan can't afford any of them. It's okay.
I'm surprised that he hasn't like expanded more, to be honest.
Oh, jeez.
But
well.
Too much
isn't
going
the
on.
Palms and Station Casino now?
Yes,
Is
it
it?
is.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, I
it
didn't
was
know
purchased by the Fertitas.
Really?
Yes.
So what happened to the Maloofs, just out of curiosity? Because
Actually, the main guy, was it George?
George Maloof,
George,
yeah.
Yeah, he was like the last shareholder,
Mm-hmm.
and he lost his percentage from what I read and was heard. He lost his percentage due to all the other shareholders. They kind of booted him out.
Okay.
But he hung in there as long as he could.
Well, he was
But they
still
finally
like
sold
owner of the Kings or something, right? Wasn't he?
The Sacramento Kings.
Sacramento Kings?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was weird. Recently at Red Rock Casino, they're hosting the Lee's tequila beer tasting experience, whatever they do annually. And George Maloof himself was actually at a booth pouring tequila and
Really?
spirits or beers, whatever it
He was also a hands-on guy, though, from what I've seen.
It was just super random because
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You're
know
like,
this
well, I know that guy,
from
yeah.
somewhere.
And he's just pouring some... Well, I
He
don't
was-
know. Maybe he makes a lot of money doing that now.
Maybe. I mean,
You
like,
know?
no, it was cool to see him, like, actually,
Kinda random.
getting his hands dirty, doing stuff and, with us common
Yeah.
folk. But,
Right.
like, it was just really surprised to see him,
Right.
in that position.
I always remember that Johnny Brendan never remembered my name.
I never,
He
you never
always-
remember anyone's
He always
name.
thought I was
Yeah.
John.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro.
My buddy that brought me in, yeah, he and I have a similar kind of, features, and he always
You're
thought
both
I was
pale
him.
white guys.
Yeah,
Yep,
slender
and
white
skinny
boy.
white
Yeah.
guys.
Well, we'll say it for the Theater Chronicles.
Yeah, right. We'll
Yeah.
get into that. We want to start with Gear Grinders.
Yes,
Obviously,
our favorite.
we always have something to bitch at.
Oh, yeah.
And me personally, just buying a new car. We're gonna get into that one.
Yes.
So
But I
it's
want to
fun.
start with, Sam. You just spent over a week in the hospital. I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
there's some.
My gear grinders right here is the doctor's appointment, all the follow-ups.
Yeah.
It makes no sense to me. You asked me to come in at 10 a.m. or 9:45. You don't see me till 10:30, almost 11 o'clock.
Right,
And
and
I'm
that's
like-
with any doctor, but especially at a hospital where you think they would roll you in and be like immediately
Yeah.
start the process, right?
Nope.
No, you still have to
Hurry
wait.
up and wait.
Yeah.
And then fill out the paperwork, and you're like, but bro, I filled out the paperwork from another facility. You guys can't share the info. I
Right.
gotta sit here and answer every
How many
question.
times did you
all
like
over
write
again?
down your social security number and your telephone
or
your address?
medical history, or are you a drug user? And I'm like, I don't know, am I? I mean, I dabble a little bit in the Mary Jane, but that's not really a drug.
Depends. Are you
So-
420 friendly?
It's
Yeah.
legal now. We'll get into
Yeah,
that too.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
that's-
with doctor's appointments in the hospital, it's a freaking nightmare. And then the worst part for the hospital is when you're dealing with like 4 different doctors and none of them are on the same page. Everyone thinks they're godly, and you're like, okay, put your egos aside and let's come together and figure out a common goal and let's get this shit done. It's a lot easier. that way.
Well, you think that they want to keep you there as long as possible, right? They extend your stay and make you pay more money. I'm sure your bill was ridiculous.
I didn't get it yet. That's the funny part. I didn't get it yet, but I'm sure when I do, I'll share it with the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
That's the exciting part, man.
Oh yeah.
No, I remember this was actually before I started at Brendan. I had a heart attack and
Okay.
I had a pacemaker put in. You all know this story,
Right,
but
yeah.
but
That's why we call you
that's,
Iron Man.
Yeah, and that alone costs as much as a car, like a BMW, a good car.
man.
Oh,
So if I wasn't on some kind of insurance, and now
Yeah.
Obamacare, which may be going away, so who knows with
That's
that.
fucking scary, bro.
I'd have
It's
to
all
pay
but
for all
out.
that.
I rely on that.
Yeah, exactly. And I can only imagine that in your situation, you need
It's
as
a
much help as you
nightmare.
can get.
Like I keep watching the news, and I'm like, fuck.
Like when is
Fuck.
yeah right? When is this gonna just disappear on me? Altogether.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I guess we turn this episode into a drinking game for every F-bomb I drop. Because, I mean, with that situation going on, dude, it does scare the crap out of me.
right.
Because I'm like, all these guys are writing their own little schemey plans. And it's like, dude, you're not down here with us hands-on, like, experiencing the situation itself. Because, I mean, it is hard. When I get the bills for my medication, when the pills are, like, sometimes 120, 130, you're like,
Yeah.
damn, dude, for a 60-day supply?
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I had the actual insurance to help me out,
How long were you in the hospital for?
Exactly 12 days. I counted
Wow.
every single day down, bro.
It's the worst.
Like, I marked my calendars. It was like prison style, got fed 3 meals.
You got the terrible food, right?
Oh, man.
I think
the
I was only
bland
in for like a
food.
week, and it's just the longest time ever.
The saving grace was the eye candy. The nurses were pretty nice, and they were easy on the eyes.
I like girls
You
with
had a hot
scrubs.
nurse? Those are real?
Those are
Yes.
real.
I thought that was just movie stuff.
No joke. The first night I was there, before they gave me the CAT scan, the X-ray on my chest, they put me in a bed and put me in the side hallway. And the side hallway they put me by was probably the break room, bro. So
they passed all by you.
All
right?
the nurses kept walking in and out, and it had the NBA Finals on, right? So the cute nurses come by. Oh, what's the score? Who you rooting for? I'm like making conversation.
Who are you rooting for?
I'm like, whatever team you like, I'll like
That's right.
too.
You hate LeBron? Me too. What a dick.
Yeah, I hate. You love Curry? Yeah, I love Curry. Woo!
Nice.
Good times.
Oh, cool, man. Well, we're glad you're out of the hospital.
Yeah,
man. It was a
exactly.
really scary
Exactly.
story to hear you in there. So
Yeah.
glad to see you on your feet.
But I'm pretty excited for Adam and his car story.
Oh,
His
my
gear
God.
grinder.
Well,
Fill us in, bro.
My car's been falling apart on me for quite some time, so it's been needed for me to.
R.I.P. Shark Rocket.
Yes, R.I.P. Shark Rock. That was my last car was a Tiburon. So actually, this one I went back to Hyundai and I got a 2016 Elantra, but I still feel like I didn't threaten to walk out enough.
Right.
So I was like swindled and I still feel like. I kind of got swindled a little bit.
Do you have limited buyer's
there's always
remorse?
an argument. Oh, a little bit. Only
Little bit?
because of
Okay.
I love the car, but
The color's sweet though.
Yeah.
Gotta be fair. The color's sweet.
Just that big amount of money. Nobody wants to take that hit.
Yeah.
No.
And I always feel like you're arguing, and you're trying to get the price down,
Yeah.
and they always add these hidden fees in.
Yes, yes,
to bump
dude.
that up anyway.
The
so
registration
you're just
fee.
arguing down these fees that they add anyway. So they're gonna make that line on the car, no matter what you do. So in my case, they added this $2,500 onto this used car for a what do they call it? Can't think of the word. It was basically just so they could put new tires on it and
Like a restocking situation.
basically a restocking fee. Yeah, $2,500 on this car, and
So it's
luckily
like fixes down the road, basically. Like you come back and see us, and you pay for this now. Later on when you're ready, we'll fix it, kind of sort of thing.
Well, no, that's different. That'd be kind of the insurance that I bought. This was like if you sell your car to the dealership, in order to sell that car again, they gotta run it through the inspection and put new tires on it and put new brakes on it if they suck. So that's what they charged me for. It's
for,
like
the,
a
for their
restocking
for
fee,
their
basically.
work.
Yeah, for their work, and then they
That's bull.
just top that on top of the price on the sticker, but they don't tell you until the contract comes out. So then you got to argue that down. So I figured I could have walked out there and they could have scratched it maybe, but I digress. I got a good car and I got a pretty good deal on it. So
Well, good. As long as you're happy.
Well,
Yeah.
next time just go to the chopper guy where he says chop it. What's that dude?
Is that guy still a thing? The chopper?
Yeah, he's still going strong, bro. He's still in commercials.
Yeah.
still going strong in Las Vegas only though. So
True.
Yeah, to anybody that doesn't know, in Vegas, there is this one car pitch salesman who had late night broadcasting on basic cable TV, and his thing was, he's like,
he would chop the price.
Yeah, that was his thing. It's like, we're selling this car for this much.
Chop it. Yeah. What do you think about that price?
Chop it.
Get to the chopper.
I didn't go that far, but yeah.
Good times. All right, what else pisses us off?
Oh, the current Cox Cable situation. So I know a lot of people that don't use Cox Cable anymore for cable,
Right.
but for internet purposes.
That's what I do.
Right.
Which is a majority of us. Well, recently I received an email saying that once I reach 1 terabyte worth of use, they're going to charge me $10 extra for every 50 gigabytes.
Right. That's crazy ridiculous.
Yeah,
you barely go over, they're gonna charge you out of the ass.
you read the email,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck's going on? Because in my house alone, I don't know about you guys, but in my house, there's 3 smartphones, 2 Xbox One, PS4, then 2 3DS XL, which is all Wi-Fi. Then there's 3 laptops. Then there's the DirecTV setup that we have in the house,
Right.
and that's 4 boxes, all Wi-Fi. So I have over 20 items for Wi-Fi
Connected
usage.
to one Wi-Fi.
So if we're all live streaming, then I'm totally screwed, dude.
Yeah, dude.
It's such bullcrap.
And they're gonna
Yeah.
charge you way ridiculous prices for that overage.
Yeah.
I'm already paying
Uh,
like 110, 120 for the internet, just the internet itself.
Yeah, that's just internet. See, I used to pay like the bundle for the cable, the internet, and the
Yeah.
home phone, which we didn't
Yeah.
use anymore, right?
Yeah, that was an asshole.
Yeah, and then every time the bill would come in, it would be a little higher.
Yeah.
You know, and then you gotta call and complain and be like, "Hey, last time you told me I was on this price for like a certain amount of time, like a
Yeah,
block of time,
like for
you
a
know?
year."
And then every month you're raising this price on me.
Yeah.
So we cut cable down.
Oh, yeah.
We do the
And we did too.
Netflix and the Hulu. And
The live
Yeah,
streaming.
everybody's
Yeah.
streaming nowadays.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the main reason we cut cable. Our bill is like $180
it's
regularly
like
a month.
too much.
And that's for like, like basic high-speed cable. It's not even, or like high-speed internet. It's not even the top of the line one. Plus your cable itself also. We didn't have a phone line, but still, just those two things alone with like one premium network, it was like $180 every month. And like you said, you're contractually obliged, for so long you're going to pay this rate. But
Yeah.
of course, as soon as you move locations or you need to relocate your services, or after a
Yeah, it's
certain
a whole
period
new
of time,
deal.
it goes up.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
substantially.
they're a bunch of dicks. They're a bunch of assholes.
Yeah, and I mean it's just a matter
Hidden
of business
fees,
too.
just
It
like-
evolves too. The way they're going to start charging you for streaming, because obviously the way we view our entertainment nowadays, it's
Mhm.
completely different. Nobody. I mean, there still are people that have cable, and that's fine. But majority of the people there right now, they all want to watch what they want right now. So everybody
Exactly.
streams nowadays, whether it's YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, whatever it is, HBO Go.
You pick it, you find it. It's
Yeah.
easier than waiting for the time
Yeah,
frame.
and you watch it.
Mhm. And games too nowadays, you can't even put a disc into your console without it downloading so much data.
Oh yeah.
So like there's no way around it.
And then you're using the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I mean,
You think
And
the
then-
next consoles will just go discless?
it's
I
on the
don't-
way.
I don't
it's
know.
I think so.
close.
It
I
is
think it's
definitely on
close.
the way. Because even with cars nowadays, like my car, it's a 2017 Honda, and it
There's
doesn't
no
have
CD player.
player. No CD
Yeah.
player. It's
Really?
all streaming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Really?
any cars after 2015 or 16, no CD
Mine's
player.
2016's got a CD player.
Nice.
You got to get with the times, man.
I know. 2016, I
Yeah.
thought it would be like, no, I don't have a touchscreen.
No,
It's
man,
not
you're
that
way-
fancy.
you're way
but
behind,
yeah.
dude. No, it's all Bluetooth nowadays. Like my
Yeah.
phone syncs up automatically too, which is a cool perk. But I kind of miss the the thing of CDs. It's just I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
They call me I'm
I-
old fashioned.
Right.
I prefer to open my CD case and look at my bajillion selection.
Yeah.
It's
And just marvel at them because you don't
Yeah.
play them anymore.
well for me. The one thing I am like waiting for, hopefully it comes out to Vegas. 'Cause I know it's out in the Bay Area and some parts of Cali right now. Is Google Fiber. You guys know about that? Right?
Totally.
Like that shit's full speed. Everyone's watching Chromecast off of there, like streaming. Like everyone's fine. And then
And it's supposed to be pretty cheap, right?
yeah, it's pretty
as far as I
cheap.
know,
And then there's like a lifetime
like-
price fee
Yeah, I was
too.
gonna say like an extended price for it.
Yeah, like
Oh.
there was like certain contracts. One of them that interests me was the fact that like you pay for it, and then like everyone in your family gets to use it too, and you're locked in for that price for life, basically. And it passes
Right. You don't have to pay per person or anything. It's just like for
one
access.
flat free. Yeah,
Yeah.
for the access
Yeah.
itself.
Which
And
is how it should be.
yeah, and I've seen the Google Fiber, and I've seen the videos, and it's so crisp, so fast, and so
Yeah.
clear. Like it's
what
great.
It's what we're dreaming of.
What
Right?
would the rate
Yeah.
on that go for? Like that one-time rate?
I don't know, because that's the price out in Cali, but I don't know how they're going to deal in Vegas. You know what I mean? 'Cause, in Vegas, someone has to pay somebody, and then someone gets a cut of that action too. So,
Well, I mean that's why Cox is able to charge what they do. There's nobody out here that's providing cable.
Right. Or like
So-
no bundles the way they do, because I mean, DirecTV, you get your TV, you
Yeah.
don't necessarily get internet service, so it's basically the one company that offers everything in one
Right.
location, which is where that bill
but
comes from.
they're still dicks. I just want to say that.
Just like your phone company, they just got you by the balls.
Yeah,
So
We'll break free one of these days. We'll break free.
almost there.
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. All right, so into some happier times for the
Yes,
nerds.
yes.
Yeah. So last podcast we talked about the Han Solo movie coming out, and I read an interesting article that said it's possible that the two directors that got fired from it will be able to put out their own director's cut.
Oh, really?
When you told me that, it blew
Yeah.
my freaking mind,
This
dude.
is like the
So-
Richard Donner thing. With
Exactly,
Superman. Really?
exactly.
Okay.
So I read it, and it says there's part of the movie guild or group or whatever, and it says that if the director has made or directed more than 90% of the movie, filmed more than 90% of the movie, but less than 100, they can put out their own director's cut.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Which is
Crazy,
funny
right?
because they got fired because Disney didn't like their portrayal of Han Solo, more of like a, kind of an Ace Ventura is what I heard.
Yeah.
Right.
A little bit of a bumbling idiot.
Yeah.
And that's not what they felt, would, respect
strong
that
suit,
character
yeah.
from, Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
So they fired him on creative differences, right?
Right.
But we'll see if also Disney's not, they don't have to put out the director's cut either.
They don't have to, but if these guys protest and they want to, the only problem, like we were discussing, was the fact that the mouse can pay for lawyers for days.
Right.
Like, he has enough money just to throw on the flame.
They'll put that thing into the deepest, darkest legal
I'm
hole.
gonna send you the B team of my lawyers to shut you down.
Right.
And these two directors, I'm sure, can't afford it. There's no way in hell they can
No.
afford to fight the mouse in court for days.
Yeah.
Just for a director's cut.
I just thought it's funny that they could possibly shove it back in their face.
Yeah. The idea is nice. It's nice.
You film 90% of a movie. What they'll do is probably bring in Ron Howard for all the extra shoots and just make sure that that's 11%. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he's filmed enough where they can't put out their cut. That's what I would think.
The mouse probably push and go for 12% just in case.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be curious to see what they, envisioned originally, but at the same time, overall, with just the Han Solo, I don't really care for a Han Solo film. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, just because, how old is the actor playing like Han Solo right now?
I think he's like early 30s.
Isn't he practically the same age that Harrison Ford was when he originally filmed Star Wars?
Probably.
So like you're talking young Han Solo.
You're talking like a couple of years before the original movie.
I mean, you're basically recasted Han Solo, and I just don't think that's necessary.
I think it's just another cash grab.
It is. No, that's exactly what this is.
But I'm sure it'll be better than Rogue One.
I liked Rogue One.
For all my listeners,
that's why I'm here.
For all those listeners out there,
nope.
I'm sure it'll be better than Rogue
Chris
One.
is like,
nope. That's why I'm here. Because I need to balance you guys.
Listen,
you guys agree way too much on the same thing.
Listen, guys. Listen. I'm just saying, Rogue One was like Power Rangers. I had to wait for the last 15 minutes
the Power Rangers
to see
the good parts.
To see Darth Vader come in and kick ass
and save the movie.
Yeah. Like that was the only cool part where Darth Vader comes in and whoop ass. Just like at the very end when the Power Rangers transform and finally got their shit together.
Dude, I got to tell you something about Power Rangers. I'm sorry. On TV the other day, I saw an advertisement for Power Rangers. Now, it was only like a 30-second ad. It was real quick.
The cut?
But they only advertised the parts where they were in the Zords and in the suits the last 15 minutes of the movie.
It was editing.
It was totally edited to make
those
you think that the whole
bastards.
movie was
Those dirty
all
bastards.
about the fucking Rangers, right? I was like, that is totally...
We're not going to go into Power Rangers tangent again. I already did that last time I was here. But
Tell
I'm not
me.
going to go into the tangent on Rogue One either. I did enjoy that movie. Screw you guys. I mean,
No,
that movie's
it's fine.
not that dull.
It's fine. It's fine.
I know the last act, I get it, that's the part everybody talks about, but it's hands down some of the best Star Wars stuff I've ever seen.
I'm saying
honestly, straight
it's
up.
fine to have different opinion. That's why we're all friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fun to banter about it.
No, you can have your opinion. You're just wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I'm just like, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Good
I'm not saying that it's a bad movie. It just was not a good movie.
No, I enjoyed the movie for what it was. It was no anthology or none of the chapter episode saga episodes. But I enjoyed
didn't
it
you
for
feel
what it
like
was.
they tried to make that guy too hard of a Han Solo or Han Cholo?
Nice.
They tried so hard to make him a Han Cholo, bro.
This is how I feel about that movie. If I'm ever gonna watch the Star Wars trilogy or saga, I'm not gonna watch Rogue One. I'm gonna start from episode 1 and I'm gonna run through episode 9 and I'm gonna pass by Rogue One.
Listen, I'll watch Rogue One if you give me a director's cut where there's like more development between her and her dad, because I felt bummed out. Like she finally sees him and then he gets exploded, and then like I don't know, man. Just that actor, he was so good, but I felt he was like kind of
underutilized.
Yeah, because was it Matt Mikkelsen or whatever?
Matt Mikkelsen, yeah.
Like he's a really good actor. He has a lot of range, but I just wish he was able to interact with his daughter more instead for that small 5-second dialogue where he's like, "Oh, like he was happy to see her," and then blah, I'm dead.
Well, they're trying to wrap it up, man. The whole movie, they were trying to get to the end where everything explodes.
Yeah, it is a lot of throwaway characters, but for what it's worth, entertainment's sake, it was a damn enjoyable movie to me.
Good action.
Yes, it was great action, great scenery.
I mean, it looked good.
I mean, it was kind of a bit racist sending the Asian guy to reset the router, basically. The blind guy. Sorry, they sent the blind guy to go reset the freaking router to connect the Wi-Fi. That's how I felt.
He did it himself. And then
you notice how his invisible barrier disappeared as soon as he hit that button?
No, he was just one with the Force, and the Force is with him.
And until he hit the button, and then he died.
Well, I'm saying they use all the minorities for the IT team. Basically, it was a movie about the Geek Squad. The Geek Squad. You got the Indian guy hooking up the router, and he's like, "Oh, go reset the router to set the Wi-Fi so he can download this to the ship."
Yeah.
That's what happened.
This whole movie was basically a retelling of a cable service or just IT tech service.
Now turn the power on. that's
man, this is
funny.
how every IT
Oh, that's
tech
a good one.
feels. Like this is their daily life. But anyways, back to the original subject matter, Han Solo.
Yeah.
I am curious to see what the film is. I'm going to see it regardless. I just
Yeah,
don't think
sure.
it was
We'll all
necessary
check
to
it out.
retell a story with a character that's already been done enough justice. I think he's already a character that's been developed enough. We all know about him. We know what his characteristics are. And now we're just, retelling a deeper telling story, which, they're kind of just doing more comedic cuts, like you said.
I would like to see how he met Chewbacca.
Yeah.
How he
that'd
got
be
the
kinda
Millennium
cool.
Falcon.
Oh, we're
kinda
going to get
cool.
all that, I think.
That would be cool stories for me. Just to like bring back a character just because they want the cash grab, like you say. It's kind of, not cool for me. Like I don't want to ruin that character in my mind
It's
by having
almost,
a bad movie.
It almost feels like.
But I
it's
do
gonna
want
be
to hear those
saturated.
stories,
Yeah.
They're
I like to see how the origin works, but also on the flip side, I'm kind of afraid that it's all get saturated, because our market for superhero movies or anything geeky and nerdy,
sure.
it's starting to get saturated.
Oh yeah.
Like we have some good ones, some bad ones.
Well, yeah, we'll get
Yeah,
into
we'll
I
get
think
into that.
Inhumans later, so
Yeah.
that's part of
Got stuff to say
the
about that.
saturation is definitely it's there. You can feel
it's
it.
a real thing.
But we'll get there later. Moving
Okay.
on to we want to cover
Super
the
NES.
SNES Classic
Yes.
is coming. The Nintendo Classic went on a limited run, and then
Sold out.
disappeared.
Because they only made like 5.
Yeah, and now you could probably get them for $1,000 on eBay. But it was awesome, and now they're deciding they're going to put out the Super Nintendo
Yes.
Classic, and it has a great lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I definitely will try and get on a pre-order list for this because of how quickly the NES disappeared.
I guess we'll make our way to GameStop one of these days and throw down that $20 for the pre-order.
Maybe.
Wait, so with this console, the games are built into the system.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
It's basically
It's,
like an emulator situation.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And you get
And
2
I imagine
controllers.
it's I think it's around $80.
Yes.
Yeah, it
That's
was a
the
reasonable
NES
price,
was,
actually.
yeah.
It's not bad for
Not
as
too
much
bad.
content as you're
I think
getting
this
with
one's
it.
got 35 games.
Yeah, and you have some
20
amazing games in here,
20,
too.
21 titles.
Okay.
I mean,
But
just
still,
from what I'm looking at right now, you got Super Mario World and The Legend of Zelda.
I
Link
have
to
put
the
in
Past.
so many hours on these games, like
Yeah.
F-Zero.
F-Zero, Super Metroid. Keep going.
And then we got the unreleased Star Fox.
Yeah, the
2,
headliner
of
Star
Yeah,
Fox
the,
2, which is I am fucking psyched about.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to
Yeah.
play a game that never was released here.
Yeah.
And I love the original Star Fox.
Yeah, the original Star Fox I was a huge fan
Yeah.
of, and I remember as a kid looking through like Nintendo Power and all that and seeing screen grabs of Star Fox 2 as it was in development, and
Oh,
the
right.
game never released.
Yeah.
So this is like amazing that it took 20 odd years for it to finally see the light of
for
day.
sure.
You know,
Yeah, for Nintendo.
And then there's Street Fighter
Oh,
also.
I'm just Street Fighter Turbo 2,
Yeah,
Super Punch Out, Castlevania 4, Donkey
Nice.
Kong Country, Mega Man X, Final Fantasy 3, Yoshi's Island, the original Star Fox,
And then there's only one more picture.
Yoshi's
also.
Super Mario RPG, Secret of Mana, Earthbound. There's just
Yeah.
so many good titles.
If you're a 90s
Yeah.
kid, these
Yeah.
are all ringing true to your heart. These are all amazing games.
I think it'd be a cool gaming night if like one of us gets a system and just hang out, like have drinks,
Oh, yeah.
and play this.
I mean, like I said, I put hours and hours on some of these games, like
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Mario RPG. Like,
Love that
you
game.
know, I could spend a
I
month
actually
on
still
that
have
game.
my original Super Nintendo
Yeah,
console.
so do I actually. I
It
probably still
still
have
works.
a Mario RPG that probably still works, but I would get that console just for
Oh, yeah.
all those other games and obviously ease of use. Like you don't have to
but we
blow
did,
out the
we
game
did discuss
cartridge
though,
anymore. Or
the one bummer, no Chrono Trigger.
no Chrono
that's
Trigger.
the one.
True. That's a
That's
huge
the one
RPG
thing
title of
that
the
hurts
90s,
hurts me a little bit.
But you get Final Fantasy 3.
All right.
Which is probably the next best RPG from
Yeah,
Squaresoft at the
true.
time.
But
yeah, Chrono Trigger.
Chris, could you imagine being this guy having to make the list? You're like,
Choose which games to put
right?
on there. I don't want to be that guy.
I wonder how many people it took to bring down a list just like 21 to 22 titles. You're
Right.
like, wait, how
You're
many?
like, what do I take off?
That's
Yeah.
it. So many people are going to be mad at me. What do I do?
Like Chrono Trigger. Like, how do you take that off the list?
Yeah, I mean, it is a very good, list, though,
Oh, it's a
But
great
what
altogether.
about Battletoads,
man.
bro?
Battletoads.
No love for
No?
Battletoads?
Well, the original Battletoads was on NES. There was Super Battletoads, I think, on Super
No, there was
Nintendo.
there was Battletoads for Super Nintendo, but there was also one game on Super Nintendo that very few folks knew about, which was RoboCop versus Terminator.
Oh, I remember that. It sucked.
Oh, that game,
I don't remember that.
that game was crazy. Or Carnage.
Oh, Maximum
Maximum
Carnage.
Carnage.
Yes.
Love that game.
Oh,
it was fucking
dude.
super hard.
Yeah, it was super hard.
I enjoyed.
That was
That's why I
awesome.
loved it. I was like, I kept dying. I'm like, damn it. Okay, go back in, jump back in, dude. Let's
That
do
was
this.
the
Yeah.
classic side scroller beat 'em up
Mhm.
game.
Yes.
Set in Marvel universe, right?
Yeah.
In the Spider-Man universe.
Mhm.
During the Maximum Carnage, series or whatever, And it was just this classic, beat 'em up.
Yeah, classic
arcade
side-scroller.
style game.
And it was so hard. It always got harder. It was one of those
Yeah.
games, and you never beat this game. It was so hard. Like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on NES.
Yeah.
You just never beat that game.
Yeah, this is back in the day where we had no problem playing the first few levels over and over again because we're not capable of beating the game, but we still have fun, and that was just a sign of the game design back in the day.
Turtle in Time.
And maybe
Yeah.
our simple
Oh,
minds,
Turtles in
too.
Time. That's like I would love to design my own sides to rolling beat 'em up game,
Bro,
because they don't make them like they used to.
No, not at
Classic.
all.
Remember the classic X-Men?
Oh, the
Oh,
X-Men
yeah.
arcade
the first
game?
time I got my hand on an X-Men game, I was like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
It's real. I have this
That's good
box.
stuff.
It's in my hand. I'm playing it, and I'm like, wow.
See, I was lucky when I was growing up. That game was in the arcade. My dad was the slot manager at the casino. And
Okay.
he was in charge of the arcade, so he got free tokens. So I got free tokens.
You lucky
Nice.
son of a bitch.
So I must have played that game like all day long on free tokens. It's the only way you could beat that game without like $20.
Oh, yeah.
Because every time you used a special, you took life from yourself. So
Well, by the time you beat that game, you had practically played for the machine itself. I mean,
Oh, yeah,
how much
for sure.
quarters
Pretty
you put
much.
in there.
yeah. So that and like Mortal Kombat 2, I would just like
my
go
God.
and
Oh, yeah.
just play
I remember.
that all day.
I remember. There's 2 arcade systems I fell in love with. At that time, I live in Florida, in a small town called Port Charlotte. Right, to get to the nearest arcade was in Fort Myers, which is 45 minutes away, and we can only make monthly trips, like twice a month, to the arcade. I had to beg my mom to let me go with my friends. It was a chaperone trip, but the first time we got there, right, I was in middle school, and I just discovered X-Men versus Street Fighter. And like I remember I fell in love because I hugged the machine. I'm like, this is real. And I'm trying to explain to all these other folks, I'm like, it's a combination of X-Men and Street Fighter. Do you guys
It's the
understand
best
that?
of both worlds.
Do you guys understand the importance of this system right now in this arcade? Like, this is so important to me. I remember that day at the arcade, the next 2 hours were just there. I didn't move anywhere else. I took my $5, got my quarters in my pocket, and I stood there and just played. I kept coming up with combinations of Ryu and Gambit, Ryu Magneto, and then Ken and Cyclops. And I was like, I found my magic, which was Ryu and Gambit. I was like, oh, dude, I'm done. Okay, cool. I got the fireball, and I got Gambit jumping out with doing his card and his.
Were
his
you
staff
were you
hits.
arcade champion?
Oh, dude, I held that spot.
Yeah.
I held the first player spot. Any challengers, come on in. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Because I'm on the left. I'm on the
You're
left
like,
side.
you try, kid, but I got this shit damn
Yeah.
pat.
Like if I'm using Ryu, I stay on the left side of my screen. But if I'm using Ken, I jump to the right side and counter that way. That's how I just played. It was that cabinet.
He's got
and
it
then,
down. This is
Yeah.
and then Tekken
played
Tag.
more than a few hours of
Look
that
at
one.
Sam go. My
Oh,
God,
yeah.
he's getting super sweaty getting into this.
Oh, yeah. I was in love with that system, dude.
Remember
Like,
back in
that was
the day,
the best cabinet,
having flashbacks.
I
right?
know.
It was good. It was good, dude. That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
Dude, I miss arcades, man. They don't have those
Oh,
anymore.
Yeah.
They have a pinball arcade here that I haven't been to yet, actually.
Really? Where's that?
It's on like Flamingo and Spencer-ish over by the
Yeah.
college.
Yeah, by
Okay.
Unovi.
Yeah.
That one's pretty cool.
So it's
but,
all pinball machines, or
They got some stand-up arcade games too.
They got some classics
Yeah,
there.
some pinballs. Yeah,
But
I've
there's,
been meaning to try and get out there,
If
but
there's an arcade you guys want to check out, there's a mom and pop one that opened up like about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, called Gamer's Nest. It's down the street, down on Spring Mountain, and like past like one of the little Asian restaurants. But it's called Gamer's Nest. It's ran by my friend, and he keeps it like old school, dude. There's an Initial D. There's a couple cabinets
Nice.
with the emulator. We can pick any game you want to play,
Okay.
including like Japanese Dragon Ball Z titles. And then he has like
console
the
games or,
yeah.
or stand-up games.
Stand-up games. He has both. He has cabinets, and then the dancing games, and then he has the couch areas that was set up kind of like insert coins,
Right, where you get
where he
just-
has multiple systems. You just rent the games
Yeah.
and just hang out and just play all day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a new board game kind of set up at right next to my house.
Okay.
You go in and you pay like $5 and you can play an assortment of like 1,000 board games that he has.
Oh, nice.
wow.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
We should check that out.
pretty
dude.
cool. It's called Tables.
awesome?
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
I like
good.
that. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, tons of games. It's pretty cool. Let's move on. I know you had talked about this Google lawsuit. You probably know a
Yes.
little bit more about it than me, Sam. Why don't you
For
start us out
the
on
Google
that one?
lawsuit, from what I've read and seen, it was about the UK Google lawsuit. They were fined a lot of money. It's like a hefty amount.
In the
This is-
billions, right?
It's like
Yeah.
2.7 billion or
Yeah.
something like that. That's
Yeah.
pretty
The
ridiculous.
situation was every time someone used a search engine to purchase items, Google would always put their stuff first and ranked everyone else kind of second to last,
Sure.
which was monopoly in the market.
Favoritism.
Yeah. It's like a
Of
monopoly in
their
the
own
market.
product, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
So this is only in the UK really that this is a law there that you have to be able to
It has to be fair for
right,
everybody.
show everybody's product and not have favoritism toward your own.
Yes.
Mhm.
So they got hit with this massive lawsuit, huh?
So hopefully Google learns a lesson from being a monopoly, but we'll see. I'm sure it's like nothing to them, the amount.
Well, I
that's
mean,
a hefty fine,
they're gonna
but
try to appeal it. There's
they're
no
the
way they're gonna let it just steamroll them like that.
Yeah.
Apparently, this is like an investigation that's been going on for like a number of years too. Like they didn't
Sure.
just like overnight decide they were gonna file a lawsuit.
right. I
No,
mean, if
it
you're
took-
going to
it took
come
a
after
while.
Google for billions of dollars,
Yeah.
you better
You better
have
have a
some
hell of a
backup,
case, yeah. So, who knows? I mean, it's still in
Yeah.
development, but yeah, it's quite
interesting because that's obviously it's precedent to set up some new laws.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if here in the United States we don't have those kind of laws. At least they're out there that we can look at.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's gonna be interesting to see how all this plays out.
Well, that comes back to the internet and throttling your speeds and boosting your own product and keeping the man down and I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
all big corporate business. Like they're saying, like advertising their engine, then and their sales, and before any other company. Because if you were to Google, search or do any sort of shopping through Google, like all their stuff pops up immediately, where any other store is like way beneath.
Right.
And it's like much larger pictures, captions, whatnot. Like obviously marketing themselves before anybody else. So.
Well, the attention span that people have, they're only looking at those first top couple of
Right.
choices,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
No
so
one really
if
does
you-
makes
their
sense.
research
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly. You're not looking at those bottom lists.
Yeah, it makes a
They're,
lot of sense,
Google
yeah.
put this one first. Boom, that
Mhm.
must be the best one.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, it's Google's.
Yeah, they think just
oh.
because it's Google,
Yeah.
this is the top option. This is the best way to go.
Right. So I don't know. Interesting. Slap on the wrist, Google.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
This is my favorite one coming up right here.
All right, so we always like to throw in a little bit of science in this nerd alert. This one, Sam found the Lone Star tick,
Yes.
obviously out of Texas. If it happens to bite you,
It
it
changes your
actually
system.
changes your DNA, chemistry, whatever, to where you can't physically eat meat anymore.
Yeah.
Like permanently. You can't eat
Permanently,
meat.
apparently. Sam,
Apparently.
you read more on this, right? Is it like a...
I'm not sure if it's
physically
permanent or not,
changes you, right?
but like it makes you allergic to meat. But I don't know how long it's for. They're talking about how people were joking around that this is an attack by all the vegans, trying to attack all the meat eaters. But I find the irony, the fact that it comes from Texas, like the heaviest meat state ever, dude.
Right, like all the cattle runs through Texas.
Yeah,
and
like
then-
all the
then,
cowboys.
none of them can eat meat. And they're
Can you
all
imagine
vegan cowboys?
Yeah, cowboys turning vegan. That's like the saddest day in their lives.
There's
know,
no way, man.
they're
That's
probably
quite
in
funny.
tears.
It's like, how does this work though? Like,
the way it works at the tick when it bites you, it alters your the genetic sequence. It alters your genetic sequence to where your tolerance for the meat and the sugar compounds at the meat itself, your body can't take anymore. So you have to end up, not eating meat.
so like
So it just makes you sick. Like you can't process the meat.
Yeah, because it's
So then you just-
compound the meat and its sugar content or the compound of the sugar, your body can't break that down anymore. You can't process that, so you're basically stuck being a vegetarian or vegan. I
like a
enjoyed the
nightmare.
disdain look in your face, Chris.
Nightmare,
You're-
right? Yeah.
The look in your face, you're so disdain, but
Like,
you're
you
like,
mean I can't eat
well,
steak anymore?
Yeah, I'm sorry, carnivore to the bone, and I
Right.
respect other people's beliefs and all that too. I'm not a fan of the vegans that like to just promote their way of life. Like, you should be vegan. I'm like, no, I shouldn't. I chose this life. I'm doing good so far. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm happy. You're happy. Be happy. Don't try to spread your false happiness on me.
Well, plus the fact that you
Sounds
make
like
good
religion.
burgers too. Like, I'd be so sad because you make some freaking bomb burgers, bro.
Well, thank you, sir. Like I said, like I have my beliefs, whatever.
I like
I
meat.
love animals too. I appreciate those vegans that become vegan for those reasons. But
Hey, I enjoy
they like to
friendly
preach
animals.
sometimes.
I enjoy the fact that a cow can be friendly with a pig. When you put a burger with bacon, they're best friends.
Uh,
Okay.
Okay.
And then you'll make it friendlier. You add a little baby, a little fried egg on top, a chicken. You're all set.
Right. See, no, Sam, you're the kind that vegans hate. It's like, you're the ones that they're going after, man.
We're gonna add the cats and dogs on there too, Sam.
Whoa,
Yeah,
bro.
whoa. That's a
Listen
lie.
here, single
Yeah,
white
yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Listen, you're out
Just
of luck
the
today.
pigs and the-
you're,
and the
you're
chickens
the
and
minority.
yeah.
Listen, Adam, you're the minority today. Okay.
Well,
You're
this is
the
kind of even playing grounds right now if you think about it. But this is like a proven thing though. This is a
Yeah.
real like
It is the actual
Okay.
situation. that's been
sucks.
occurring. Yeah.
Really
That sucks. Yeah, I would not want to miss out on my brats.
Yeah,
and my steak.
Well, plus in
Yeah.
Texas, the barbecue,
And- oh, the barbecue.
dude.
Dude.
Like, that's a nightmare.
I'm reminded of the scene in The Matrix where he's eating the steak, right? And he's like, I don't even care. Put me back in.
Perfect.
I want my steak.
Yeah.
That's
But like, it's not just like being vegetarian, going vegan. Like, you couldn't even have like dairy if you wanted to. Like, everything is like you can't take any of it.
They didn't go into full detail.
I think it was specifically just meat.
just the
Okay,
meat
so-
so
Yeah.
far.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like my cereal. So
There
we're
you
good
go.
Yeah.
Okay, I can make real cheese. I'm happy.
You
Grilled
can
cheese
get away
with
with
some
some other
tomato.
stuff, but no steak, man.
Ugh,
I don't know.
that'd be a
We'll
rough
have to look
flight.
up some more info on that.
Definitely. We'll
Come
come back to
that
later.
one. Yeah, interesting. All right, so let's get into
Yes.
some theater chronicles.
Yes, let's do this.
We got stories. We worked together at Brendan Theaters for a few years.
Yeah.
Before that, I worked at Regal Cinemas for a couple of years as a manager.
Either way, doesn't matter because everyone known you as John.
That's true. Actually, at Regal, John didn't work at Regal, but I actually had my other friend George that worked there, and we tag teamed that one too. So,
Nice.
but anyway, tons of stories. I can't even begin to start.
Well, how old was everyone when we started working at the Palms?
That's a good question. I believe that I was 18.
I was 18.
Like, when I first started, I was 15. I was like just on the verge of becoming 16.
Right, you had just gotten the job, your
Yeah.
permit, right?
It was
And you're
exciting.
Like, yeah, that was your first job, coming in all green. Didn't know any better. Didn't know any of us.
Oh, I knew better. Like when I came in, because I was already previously a waiter, working for my parents' restaurants. So like,
That's
when
true.
I-
You worked at like 3 years old, right, Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started working young. But when I came into
Sweating in
this,
the noodle shops.
when I came into this, like I treated it like prison. I'm like, okay, cool. Give me all your rules and guidelines to establish. I'm gonna find all
Yeah.
the gray areas.
Oh, really?
I'm hanging on the gray areas, so that I'm not the good guy or the bad guy. I'm just right in the middle.
Just gonna bend those rules.
Did
slightly.
you guys start when the theater opened?
No, I think I started first of the three of us, and
I
Sam
started
started like a month after I
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, but this was probably like maybe halfway into the year of it opening that I first started, because it was still kind of getting off the ground. But yeah, no, it had been open for at least a few months before I got in there. Then Sam followed suit not long after that, and I think Adam came in maybe in the next year.
Yeah,
sometime.
about a year,
Yeah.
year and a half or so after it opened, I think.
I still gotta thank Angela for the job, dude. Because like, I remember my first day meeting Angela in music appreciation. She looks at me, she's like, "Dang, you got big feet." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a big guy." And like we were joking around, and then we were talking about jobs, and I'm like telling her looking for a job. She's like, "Come on down to Burn Theaters. I'll get you in." I'm like, "What? Really?" And like,
Was she a manager at that point?
no, she was just a staff member. And then
okay.
she was there for like I think like a couple months before me and Chris. But I went in there and she's like, here's the application, fill it out. I was like, okay. So I fill it out. Next you know, she hands it to Gagne, and he's like, do you have time? I'm like, my movie starts in like about 30 minutes. He's like, cool. Give me a second. I'll pull you in for an interview and we'll talk.
Yeah.
And I was like, is this?
You're like,
is
oh
this-
shit, this is happening.
Yeah, I was like, is this really going down? And she's like, yeah, dude, I got you. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
It
this
was
is
too
cool.
easy, huh?
Yeah.
And you're like,
So-
this is a cool job. I get to watch movies. I get
Yeah.
popcorn.
So I went in for my interview, and we're sitting there talking, and like the interview, like it's the first interview I ever had, and it was like zero stress. Cause it was like just two friends just talking, right?
Yeah.
Talking about football, high school career, and like maybe goals and plans, and like why would you want to work here? And next you know, Gagne's like, yeah, just come back tomorrow. We'll fill out the paperwork, process you, get you ready to go.
Right.
And that time, remember Bob?
I remember
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Yeah.
Old man Bob.
Yep.
Yeah, he's like, all right, tomorrow you come in, we'll
He
we'll
was like
measure
a
you, and
super,
we'll,
like-
we'll make sure you're good to go with the vest. And then next thing you know, I'm like, Bob comes back, he's like, you're a little too big, so we have to custom order a vest for you. Just give me a couple days. I was like, all right, that's cool, dude. Sounds good to me.
I remember Bob gave me one of my entry interviews too, and it was super awkward because I don't know, like he seemed like he wasn't quite all there.
Okay.
I didn't really know the guy very well. It was like the
Gotcha.
one 5-minute conversation I ever had with him. But
You might have cut him on the end because,
Yeah.
like, at the end he was getting little tired. Best way to put it.
yeah,
He was getting a little
he's
tired.
kind of an old guy.
Yeah. But he was such a sweet guy, though, dude. Like, he was such a good guy. I liked him a lot. He was cool.
Yeah. He was a good guy. Then he moved to Laughlin, didn't he? After
Yeah.
that, when we opened the theater over there.
Yeah. He went to open Laughlin for a little bit, and then he
That makes
retired.
sense.
Yeah, but anyway, so story-wise.
Story-wise, yeah.
What you got, Adam?
I mean, when we started, I just wrote down a couple of notes here. Like,
Are we gonna hit them all today, or we hit a couple today?
I mean, we can hit a couple of stories. I mean, we don't have to get too far into it.
Okay,
I just wrote down a couple of my favorite things. Like
Well,
outside food and drink.
Seeing one of these things on here, I want to. We've all ushered before. Anybody who doesn't know what ushering in just means we're the guys that come in and clean up your shit after you leave the theater.
Yeah, after you spill popcorn everywhere and leave your bucket and your soda.
After you think it's funny, just to knock over your soda, for
Hands
shits
out,
and giggles.
what is the worst movie you remember cleaning out?
Oh, bro, easy. I'll answer in a heartbeat. Fucking Lilo and Stitch.
Yes, Lilo and Stitch. That's exactly what I was going to say.
So mine was Holes, actually. You remember Holes with
Holes.
Oh,
Shia
geez.
LaBeouf,
Yeah, I don't remember why. I think we had like a kids box deal that day, and there was just popcorn fucking everywhere.
No.
I think that was when I was at Regal.
Yeah, I understand though. With Lilo and Stitch,
Yeah.
we had a promo with freaking McDonald's. Every kid gets a free small ice cream cone, and they were allowed to bring it into the theater.
Nice.
I remember
So there was ice cream everywhere.
I remember one time I fucking walked in, and I just followed the trail of the ice cream dripping from the entrance door all the way up the steps around to the seats, and I'm like, so this is where your ice cream died.
Did your eyes start twitching?
Bro, you know why I started twitching? Because it was a bucket of popcorn that's knocked over next to the ice cream. I was like, good times.
You know what's the worst smell in the world is old popcorn mixed with soda.
Yes.
Oh my god! The dumpster area is probably like the nastiest part of the theater.
It's pretty disgusting when you think about how dirty we let ourselves get back there, throwing out trash everywhere.
Oh, yeah. It's a freaking nightmare.
When you tell 18-year-olds to take out the trash, what do we do? Throw it over the rail?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys remember when Republic wouldn't come pick up the trash and then we had to go clean it out?
Yeah, exactly.
That
Because
shit was
everybody
a
would throw it over the
fucking
rail
nightmare.
and miss the trash can, and then it would pile up on the fucking sides, and it would smell.
Yeah, they would actually have us detail the dumpster areas sometimes, so somebody would actually literally be inside the dumpster, like smashing shit down to make sure there was room for
Fucking nightmare.
Right.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
The worst when you had to take the overflow down to the compact to the Palms area, and that place was a freaking nightmare. That compact area, you're like, no thanks. I do not want to go there at all.
Yeah, the place was just full of bile and just fucking garbage everywhere.
Speaking of food and drink, one of my favorite things was as a manager,
hell yeah,
telling people they couldn't bring their fucking Starbucks in or their outside food and drink, which everybody knows that's a policy going into the theater, and everybody tries to sneak stuff in.
Yep.
So when you have the obvious 2 liters sticking out of your pocket, I felt it necessary to have to stop you and make fun of you and tell you that you can't bring that in. And then half the time,
basically, we're saying you're an idiot.
Yeah, right.
Stop being an idiot, please.
Get a big purse or something.
Yeah,
I can't
be smooth.
At
least be smooth about it.
Your purse legally without your consent. So, but anyway, if you make it obvious, it's my job to call you out on it.
Yeah. Don't make it too obvious, please.
A lot of people make a big deal out of what's the big deal? Well, business-wise with the movie theater, understand that the movie theater profits based off its concessions as opposed to the box office.
No money from the box office.
Because box office we're renting their movie.
Yeah, we get the smallest percentage.
So the theaters make their money at the concessions. That's why they charge so much money. That's why a large drink is $10.
Yeah.
That's where they make their money. So that's why they want you to bring in food.
We get it. It's obnoxiously expensive, but just you're going there for the experience. Just fucking suck it up for a little bit. Get it. Just understand. It's part of the experience. I get it. It sucks. I don't want to pay that much for popcorn and and soda, but still, it's part of the experience. You're going there for a reason.
Unless you know people, then you kind of just bring in whatever.
Yeah, Kevin.
Yeah, unless you know people.
Yeah, but
and then half the time these people would. Half the time they would take it well, and then half the time they would get angry with me, right? And then I can't bring my ice cream in. Well, then you can have it, and then throw it on the desk or at me or whatever. And then they're like, okay, cool, thanks.
Well, my favorite was when we had that Las Vegas subs at the food court, and then it's free lunch because they're gonna come back for. I'm like, all right, well, whatever. They're like, just keep it, just take it, whatever. And I'm like,
you have it then.
Sweet,
well,
I got lunch.
Thanks, bro. Enjoy your movie,
Right?
No.
How many folks you had to stop, Chris?
Oh, kicking people out with drinks and stuff?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I mean, there was a number of times, of course, you call out the obvious ones, like you said, and it was kind of fun sometimes. There's small victories.
They are small victories, yes.
The funny ones are the baby strollers. When they had a bucket of fried chicken or had a whole thing of food.
Nice.
My favorite,
I don't think I ever stopped one of those.
I think the most hilarious one are the senior folks early in the mornings. They'll bring in their own popcorn. I'm talking about the microwave popcorn. Some old man would hide it in his jacket and then bring it in, and you're like, what the hell is going on here? You're like,
And they're super obvious about it because they're old and senile or whatever.
Yeah.
They just like try and hide it in their jacket pocket, right? They're like,
and you're like, Gramps, you can't do that. What do you mean I can't? I'm a senior, damn it. I'm like, I understand, sir, but you can't just bring it in like that. And then there's a throw it at you. You're like, oh, cool.
that's what I needed today.
It's only 9:30 in the
Get
morning.
an argument with an old man. And
Yeah.
I just started,
Yeah, after
It's
a
only
while, it's just like,
9:30.
just
I
go
got
in.
popcorn thrown at me. It's not even my own popcorn. It's microwave popcorn. Cool. You have a good day too, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, that's people.
Small victories. That's what we have to do.
But now,
Yeah.
now moving to saying the same food area, I'd say we should move on to the whole diet drinks.
Sure.
And then their large butter popcorn with like 20 layers.
It's the best
Oh.
thing when you get, the hefty person will say, and they come up and they're like, I need this diet soda. Yeah.
Wait.
Large one, though, no ice. And then give me the large popcorn.
No, remember? And can you top it off with a little bit of wild cherry Pepsi?
Yeah, right. 75% diet.
Yeah,
Chop it off a cherry.
it's not
And then
gonna help you.
Large pocket of popcorn with layered butter, right?
But then
But you got the diet soda, so you're good, right?
But then the funny part is like also like the I want to call them like the gym rats, the yoga moms, the yoga chicks to wear yoga pants. They all come in and they're all like giggling and all on their phone and they're all like, yeah, we're gonna need 4 Diet Cokes and then 3 small popcorn with layered butter and also 2 nachos but with extra jalapenos and cheese.
This
And
is like
you're
the cheat day, right?
You're like, what? I don't understand.
Like, where does it all go?
Did you want Pepsi AC with this too? Like, is that part of the deal? Like, I don't know, Chris. What's some of your food nightmares with dealing with customers in the concession stand?
Oh man, it all blurs together. I mean, I couldn't tell you one
Right.
specific incident. It's just the mass amounts of people that you deal with, just like random incidents, like you said, just stopping people. Like people are just dicks, and I've talked about this before. People
They
are
always
just
want
dicks
something for
sometimes.
free.
Yeah, it's
you
like the
know?
moment you stop 'em for something, like, oh well, I should be compensated for something. I remember there was one time actually, I was taking tickets, letting people in, and this mom and her son rolled through and like, oh, my husband's getting tickets. I'm like, okay, well, I'll collect them when he gets here. Guy rolls up with one child ticket, I think,
Nice.
something like that. I'm like, okay, well, you need your family's tickets also. And I went up to him. I'm like, hey, you need their tickets for them as well. He's like, oh, well, you didn't have to come up to me and disrespect me like that. I'm like,
Oh, nice.
I'm asking you for a ticket for the rest
The
of your
other two
company.
people
That's
that you're
all
standing
it
with?
is, yeah. And so he goes back to the box office and he buys 2 children's tickets.
Nice.
And I'm like, okay, well, I don't see
You're
2
like, now I
children
gotta
here,
say something, right? Like,
yeah. So and like I'm
come on,
telling
bro.
somebody too. I was like, hey, can somebody deal with this, please? And they're like, no, you go do it. I'm like, the fuck am I gonna do?
You're like,
So
you're like,
like,
thanks.
yeah, I was still just
15,
like, I was still
talking
like
to
the
this,
teenager. I'm
you know.
like, he was a huge dude. He
Yeah.
was a huge dude
Right.
too. I'm not gonna, even get into that. But no. And so like, of course, then he freaks out. He's like, well, let me talk to your manager. I'm like, realistically, what argument do you have? You straight up, try to sneak
You're
in.
being a liar.
Yeah, you bought 1 ticket for yourself, didn't try
Then
to
you
sneak
got
in the rest of
caught.
your family, and then I caught
now,
you.
Now you got caught
And now you're being a
again.
dick to me, and
You
I
got
said,
child
"Oh, this
tickets.
is my fault."
Yeah.
What the hell,
Oh, yeah.
dude? Like I'm just doing my job, but that's just again people, being
Yeah.
shitty.
Another
Yeah.
one I remember specifically. I wouldn't run concession a lot because I was a manager at that point, so I would just take over box office. And one time this guy came up and he bought senior tickets, right? A group of them, and he was only one guy, and he was clearly not a senior, right? So I told him to his face, I was like, if you walk in there with a bunch of people with senior tickets, I'm gonna kick you out.
Yeah, it's
Straight to his
going
face
down.
before he even paid it, right?
It's going down, bro.
Like I was in a bad day or something was going down, and I was just like, I wasn't gonna take it. And then he come back at me like he was offended, right? And granted, maybe I did offend him because maybe he had some seniors with him. But I didn't know, and I didn't care at that point. And and I just seen it a million times before. Teenagers coming in trying to get discounted tickets and walking in
Yeah,
with
trying to pull a quick one on
same
us.
thing. You buy a bunch of child tickets, and you hope that the guy at the door doesn't check them.
Yeah.
Screw that.
But small victories.
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember there'd be kids that would run through too, like with expired tickets from like a movie from like a week early. I'm like,
you just flash the ticket, right?
yeah,
From
they
like
would
an
run and be
old
like,
one.
oh, I got my
here you
ticket. I'm like,
go.
no, get over here. And then
You're like, I don't remember seeing you at all today. Let me see that
It's
ticket.
like
Yeah,
Napoleon
let me
Dynamite's
double
been
check
out of
that.
theaters for months now. I'm sorry, get out
Yeah,
of here.
exactly.
Yeah. I remember, I have two favorite incidents, one food related and one theater hopping. But I remember the incident where you and me, Adam, we were working. I was door that day. And these two cute chicks come up. And they were like trying to get in for free. And they're like, oh, my boyfriend is getting tickets. I'm like, all right, I'll let them through. And then they were sitting there in the movie. And like 10 minutes in, I'm like, okay, these guys haven't shown up. So you and me went up there to kick them out, and then the girls were offended. They were kicking them out, and I was like, well, you don't have your movie
You don't
tickets.
have a ticket, do you?
Your boyfriend's never showed up.
Right.
They're like, well, we're cute. I'm like, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
Like,
okay.
you still need tickets. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, well, you can go outside and purchase tickets. And they
Sam
weren't
wasn't having any of it. And
Yeah. Because sometimes you get into this one of those days. I remember you were laughing about it. You're like, well, they were cute chicks. And I'm like, I know, bro, but it's a principle, man.
Yeah, it's the principle, right?
It's a principle.
You can't
They
just let them
lied
get
to
away
me.
with everything.
They lied to me.
Yeah.
They didn't buy tickets. We're kicking them out.
Yeah.
And Adam's like, are you sure? I'm
You're
like,
all right, man, I'll back you up.
yeah. So
Yeah.
he
You
backed
know?
me up. We kicked him out. And they were so pissed, dude. I was like, small victories.
Well, that argument, like, oh, we're cute. I was like, and
Yeah.
the fuck does that mean
Exactly.
to me? Are we going out later?
Exactly, right?
What does that mean to me?
That'd been a different story. If we're going out later, that'd been a totally different story. I've been like, okay, cool. sit
Well,
here.
yeah, of course. But I
Yeah.
mean, you're gonna pitch me that argument, then all right, let's go somewhere. Let's do
Right.
this. You know, like don't just tell me we're cute.
Yeah.
And
Throw
then
me
leave.
your number. Like,
Yeah.
you know, give me something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
you know.
You know, I got the power to let you stay, but
All I do is like it's my manager John right here.
Right?
Yeah.
But then my other favorite hilarious incident was we ran out of M&M peanuts. And I remember this pregnant lady came up, and she comes up, her husband's standing there, and she's like, oh, can I get a bag of M&M peanuts? I'm like, oh, yeah, hang on 1 second. I go look around. I call for upstairs. They're like, oh, we're all out. So I looked at her. I'm like, you know, I'm really sorry. We're actually all out of M&M peanuts. Can I get you anything else?
you're like, how about the regular ones? No, I want the peanut
And
ones.
she's like, excuse me? I'm like, yeah, we're at M&M peanuts, but I can get you anything else. You know, there's Reese's Pieces, there's Kit Kats. She's like, no, I want M&M peanuts. And I looked at her husband, and he was standing behind her, right? And he looks at me, and he does one of those, like, his hands are up in the air, and he walks back slowly. He's like,
He's like, I'm
Wow.
not
it's
gonna.
all you, bro. He's like, it's all you. And I'm like, fuck. She's pregnant. She's angry. She's hangry. I don't know what to
What
do.
do I do? What do I do?
Yeah. So I'm like,
Manager emergency.
well, I was a supervisor, so I told her, I'm like, listen, what I can do is, since I don't have the M&M peanuts, I can do is you buy a candy or two, I'll knock 10-15% off for you, so it'll be a cheaper rate, and you'll get something else just in case, just to try to hold you over.
I'm sure that wasn't good enough.
It was okay. At the end, we were able to work out a deal. She got Reese's peanut butter cups, and I think like what was it, like Butterfingers, and then of course like a medium popcorn with like 9 layers of butter,
Of course.
and and she got one of those healthy
she's feeding two.
and one of those quote unquote healthy Sobe drinks. Remember those Sobe bottle
Mhm.
drinks? Yeah.
Yeah.
She got one of those, and I was like, all right, just go away now, please. I don't want to deal with your anger. It's too much for me.
See, on a positive note, you actually made a small victory for that gentleman, that husband, because he
Right. He smoothed it
he
over.
got
He
to dump
smoothed
that
it.
anger off
Whatever,
on you
bro.
for a
He
minute.
left me hanging. He
Hey,
fucking left me hanging.
Just know
he
that
walked
you
away.
helped out a husband in need that day. Just remember that.
Talking about angry customers, there was a great story. We had kids movies and so we would bring
I
in
hate
like just
kids
groups of
movies.
kids movies and kids for these early morning shows.
Oh my
This
god.
is
One
a
of 'em-
great story.
One of them happened to be Brother Bear.
Oh, you're not talking about Polar Express? Okay. Whew.
Well, Polar Express we had like
That's
we
another
had tons.
episode.
That's another. Yeah, that's another episode.
Anyway, Brother Bear, is a cartoon.
Kill
it's
Bill.
Kids movies, yeah. Anyway, our projectionist, we were splitting movies in that house, which means half the day we played one movie, half the day we played another.
I'll let you take the first half. I'll take the second half of the story. I was there.
In this
Ground zero.
case, our projectionist threaded the wrong movie and started Kill Bill instead of Brother Bear. So we got this whole theater with kids, and it runs the trailer pack for Kill Bill, which is a bunch of rated R movies. And then the first scene of Kill Bill, Bill shoots her in the fucking head. Excuse my
Whoa,
language.
his dialogue was, "This is me at my most sadistic moment."
Yeah, as he shoots her in the head in front of all these kids. So then we have I'll let you continue the story,
Alright.
but it was just craziness.
So the theater goes apeshit. All these parents come out. They're angry. They want refunds. I remember that day. It was just me, Angela, and one box office person. This led to my meltdown, but we'll get there in a second. It was a good transition, but so it was already a hard enough day because the kids film itself was a busy, packed Saturday. Everyone was expecting to watch Brother Bear
Yep, everybody's got
on-
their kids
in
packs
the
there.
IMAX screen. Yeah,
You got to go through all the pick an airhead color,
the
right?
flavors.
Yeah.
But as soon as that went ape shit, all the parents came out. We ran into a clusterfuck situation where there was only a manager, a supervisor, and one staff person. We're trying to do refunds left and right, give out free movie tickets, and then of course give them free food. So that day the comp paper was like ridiculous.
Terrible.
But like so many furious parents. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, but how did you not know this? Like you sat through a rated R trailer pack. And you sat
15,
through,
20 minutes of rated R movies,
yeah,
you know?
that should have been your first hint that
Maybe
you're
this
in the
isn't
wrong
a
theater.
kids movie.
Yeah. But I remember all the kids screaming and crying, and it was like just a massive nightmare that would not stop. So Angela's panicking, and she's trying to like, do her best. We're trying to do our best. And then we finally get concessions come in, and like it was such a horrible day. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like, man, it's like you can visualize any chaotic like explosion moment in a movie, and everything kind of goes deaf, and you're
Just imagine having to take care of 20 or 200 angry people in line with 3 people.
Yeah,
You know?
it's not fun. It's not fun. Should I lead into what caused my meltdown?
Oh, yeah. This
All
runs
right.
right into it.
All right,
Keep
so
going.
at the beginning of that day, the signs were there. It was only 3 of us. Our person that scheduled it was trying to save payroll that day, which kind of screwed us over, which is fine now, but it wasn't fine for me at the moment.
Not fine.
I remember that day I prepared like an additional like 40 kids pack, just in case. And, all the kids start showing up. And initially my concession line went from my concession spot back to Panda Express. If you guys ever been to Red Theaters, you'll see the line itself is pretty lengthy.
It's probably 200-300 feet.
Probably.
Yeah.
A good Disney line.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm knocking out, the snacks, everything's fine. And then an hour into the shift, the hot butter pump explodes. So I got butter burning on the side of my face, and I got all the kids picking the different flavors. And at that time, we had like 4 flavors from choose from: red,
So
blue,
each kid, here, pick one.
white, green. Yeah.
I want blue. I want red. Oh, no, I want white.
And
Oh,
then,
no, I want
And then
green.
you're like trying to be patient. You're smiling.
really?
You're like, all right. And then what flavor of soda would you like? Sierra Mist. And I'll start pouring it. Oh no, cherry Pepsi. I was like,
See, I think we got smarter later on, and we just
gave
made
it-
a bunch of Sprites and a
Yeah.
bunch of Cokes, and then
that was for Polar Express. We figured it
Right.
out. Took
took
a
a
while.
minute, yeah.
But
One at a time was
yeah.
not the way to do it.
it was not working out.
Nope.
And then you got all the parents standing there getting kind of sassy with you. You're like, but I'm only one
I can't
person.
go, any faster.
Yeah, exactly. I'm out of hot dogs. I'm out of nachos.
Right.
I'm like, everything's falling apart, but I still got a smile on my face. And then finally, my concessionist shows up like 2 hours later. And I remember telling my concessionist, okay, count on. Make sure your till's good to go. I'll be right back.
I need to take a minute.
I need to go take a deep breath. So my concessionist comes in. They're banging it out because by this time, the lines died down. And I'm like, I go to the office and I finally have a meltdown. I remember Angela asking me, is everything okay? I looked at her, I'm like,
So you're about to Hulk out.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
"Ugh."
I'm like, is everything okay? What do you mean it's everything okay? I turn around, I grab the office chair, and I remember body slamming it 3 times. And then it like breaks up into like oblivion. And then Angela hops on the counter and sits there like a little mouse. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not okay. I'm freaking angry. And then I turn around and I see our locker and I take it off the wall and I shove it back in. Like so much anger. I turn around and I see our expensive computer system. I'm like, I can't punch
Don't
that.
punch that, yeah.
So I'm like, don't punch
You're
computer
like, I need
system.
to punch something right now.
But
Wait a minute.
I'll punch the wall next to it. That's all I'll do.
Yeah.
So
Fuck you, wall.
I start palm striking, punching, and kicking in the wall. And like I finally have a meltdown. And then Palm Security comes in. They're like, is everything okay? I'm like, everything's great. And I slammed the door in their face like 4 times. And I finally cooled off. And like I remember Angela like scared to death. And she's like, Ogre, you all right? I'm like, no.
Nope. Just starting.
I looked at her. I'm like, I'm going to get stock. I'll be back. So I go upstairs and I call a GM. I'm like, hey, bro, you wanna come in a little early today? He's like, oh, what's wrong, dude? I'm like, well, first off, Kill Bill played instead of Brother Bear. And you scheduled me by myself in concession for the first 2 hours of my shift. It was hell. And, oh, by the way, there's holes in the office. He was like, what?
Yeah, what?
I'm like,
I got a little carried away there.
I had a meltdown and it was in the office, but not for the customer. He's like, okay, that's good. It was in the office at least. It was in front of the customer. So I'm like, yeah. So he comes in and he's like trying to comprehend the situation. And I remember the icing on the cake. The icing on the fucking cake was this lady comes back and complains about her goddamn hot dog of all people, she complains to Josh about the fucking hot dog. And Josh looks at me, and I'm like, oh, fuck. My day's done. It's already been done, but there's icing on the cake.
So now it's your fault for this hot dog that was probably undercooked, right?
I was like, fuck.
I've had enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, don't forget we covered up that hole with a piece of a standee. That was cheaper by the dozen.
Yes.
We ripped off a turkey.
Yes.
And we put
it was
on the
lovely.
wall, and it just said Sam's Turkey on it for a couple of months.
Remember Petter put a sign that says wet paint?
Yeah. Just to cover up Sam's collateral damage.
That's great.
Oh, yeah, and also in the fallout of the whole Kill Bill Brother Bear situation, our projectionist, we'll just call out Al, his mailbox, we so dubbed him Al. Kill Bill is not a kid's movie dough. so we just did not let him forget, what we
It's
did,
for
what
life.
he did to
It's
Sam.
for life. So all the psychotic kids now that are grown up, it's his responsibility. It's his fault.
Yeah.
Because they saw Kill Bill.
Yeah, he's scarred them mentally with Kill Bill when they were 5 years old.
Either that or they turned him on to great film. Because that was an amazing
Maybe,
film. So
maybe
they got him curious into Tarantino's work.
I guess we may never know.
See, I try to see the positive in all this. You did a good job, though.
Felix, I was there for your meltdown, if you call it that. I think you still got a scar for that one,
I
don't
still
you?
do, yeah. I mean, I was kind of known for being very punch happy, somewhat like the Sam. I'm not
You're
really.
angry?
Yeah, I don't have the mass that Sam does, so I mean, I couldn't cause as much damage as he did. But yeah, I don't remember specifically.
Hey,
what
I remember
happened.
you left some good ones on the fridge.
Yeah, that was stupid too. I mean, the big steel fridge.
Bro,
I mean,
we did all that. Like, we remember our favorite, it's a Superman punch, the soda bibs.
oh yeah, that was a lot of fun. I mean, that's one way to
Any
relieve
cardboard
stress.
box, yeah.
But yeah, during one day, I don't remember what happened. I mean, not at least to that detail.
One of the
but,
stressful
it
days,
was just one of those days,
like
yeah.
Sam's,
Everything was
you know?
just like going wrong, and I was just.
I'm sure you were short staffed. For a
Probably,
while,
but
we were freaking short staffed.
I was just having just like a
forever.
really super rough day, whatever it was, and I just blew up. And of course, in the back of the concession area, we had our shipment deliveries. So typically, it's all food related stuff, whatever's back there. So boxes I can break because that's what I do.
Right.
And then eventually, like one day I just had one of those days, and I see this stack of boxes. I mean, I wasn't even looking for them. I just went back there just in my anger.
You're like, yep, I need
And
to punch
turned,
something. What can I
and, like,
punch?
there's boxes.
There's a box.
I punched, and sure enough, inside there's air filters with metal wiring on them.
Right.
So I pull my hand out only to see my thumb split wide open like a piece of raw meat, and I'm bleeding. And I'm just like,
What do I do? Shit.
So like I ran to the office.
I remember I saw that guy. I was ushering that day. I was like, what?
I left a trail of blood on the way to the office.
Yeah,
Sorry.
'Cause this guy's like, hey, Sam, can you come cover concessions? I'm like,
Yep.
yeah, sure, no problem.
and
I walked in. I'm like, what the fuck
Going
is
on?
that?
Yeah,
What the fuck is-
shit.
what?
I
And
just
then
remember
he's like
running-
run to the office.
Yeah,
right?
and I remember Adam's like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I just
All I
looking at my
remember
hand.
is you coming into the office and kind of in shock, right? And like, Adam, and you're just like fucking gushing his blood right into your hand. And I'm like, holy shit, dude, what did you do? Go to the bathroom. And I think you just kind of ran it under some water until
Yeah.
we could kind of get some gauze around it.
Yeah,
What,
so
did you need stitches for that?
No, I actually didn't need stitches. My mom, actually, who works in the medical field, she actually, I called her over. She came to my aid.
Yeah,
and
dude, she
literally-
was very calm
Did she
about
super
it.
glue
Oh, well,
that
that's
thing?
what she did. She literally super glued my
That's
hand
right, I
together.
remember
Yeah, she
that.
cleaned it out, and then she got some old school super glue and glued my finger together.
Yep.
And I was fine after that.
There you go,
But now I have
super glue.
the scar to show for it.
Sure.
Yeah,
'cause-
but that's what they actually do whenever they do, like, heal you up and they seal a lot of wounds. They actually use glue. That's
Yeah,
all. They're just
yeah.
not going to tell you it's super glue.
Exactly.
But that's
but
I
that
think,
works.
I think
right?
it was badass though. Your mom came in all super calm. She's like,
Yeah.
oh,
I
let
got
me
this,
see.
I got
Okay,
this.
cool.
No, it's just my dumbass son. He just cut himself. I got it.
This is not too bad. He can go back to work.
Yeah, so, no, he's fine.
But the one thing I want to say I was thankful for though is like, if anytime the shift contained us three, I knew it was gonna be a good shift. I was like,
Oh yeah.
it's us three. Oh yeah, we got this.
Well, the
We
thing
got
is,
this.
it's probably going to be a shitty shift as normal, but
Oh,
with
yeah.
us working together, we at least have that,
We're on the
that
same
backup,
page.
that
Yeah.
friendship. We can handle all those situations
Yeah.
without blowing up like
Right.
Oh, yeah.
like you would individually.
Yeah.
And I think my favorite is when we're doing projections. Like, I'll call you ahead of time, or you call me ahead of time the night before. You're like, hey man, can you throw the head? And at least just the first set. Just throw the head the first set for me. I'm like, yeah, that's cool, dude. And I'll catch you next time. If I ever had too much, I'm like, hey, bro.
Some of my favorite days were working projection.
It's so relaxing. It's very zen.
When I worked there, we actually used film, right?
Yes.
So you would have
35.
to actually thread a film through the projector and run it.
build, break down.
Yeah, build a movie together, and it was for me. It was pretty relaxing.
Yeah, it's very zen-like.
You get to go up and kind of hide out in the bat cave, if you will, and and just kind of do your own thing.
The best part, listening to your own music. Remember, we had a CD player. You bring in your CDs and just listen to music and just relax. Dude.
I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of homework. You know,
Drawing.
there was a lot of free time. You know,
Oh hell
I did a lot of sleeping. I'm not gonna lie. I fucking
Hell
nap through all the breaks and
Well, there was that bed in IMAX.
lunchtimes and and
yeah.
IMAX
Well,
was.
plus you can set the timer on your phone too, and you're like, all right, cool.
Man,
time
I
to
got
wake up.
25 minutes. That's a power nap. You know.
Yeah.
Yep,
But that was,
ready to go.
that was the thing, like I had touched on before in the past, is that when you work in this kind of environment where you're just dealing with customers and just nonsense constantly, you hold on to those friends, and it really is like sort of a family relationship. You look out for each other.
Oh yeah,
And that's why we still hang out right now.
yeah.
Right,
Like we
exactly.
left the industry so long ago, but we're still family. You know,
Yeah.
we still hang out and stuff. Like it's to me, you guys are always be family. You guys are always a brother to me. You know what I mean?
Our wolf
'Cause-
pack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one man wolf pack.
Good times, man. Yeah, we have tons more stories of here.
This could go on for
we
episodes on
could
its own.
literally go on forever. So we're gonna jump into the Las Vegas 3 and come back to our home base, Las Vegas, and some news we got
Yes.
for you. Today, July 1st. Is the start of medical marijuana in Las Vegas. So
Or
today,
recreational.
recreational.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Today's
And,
recreational
so
day.
so you can go and purchase it if you're over 21 at the local weed shop today. Starts today. So
I think it's a
interesting.
pretty big deal.
It is a pretty big
It's a
deal.
whole new day.
I honestly didn't think they were going to roll it out this fast.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's been in the works because some of the dispensaries are actually backed up by heavy name casinos, and the investors have at least probably I want to say 6 to 7 more properties in dispensaries. So there's a lot of money riding on the line, like a lot.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah,
And with the casinos backing them, that's where all the money's at in Vegas, the casinos. So they don't want them to fail either.
Oh, no.
And eventually, it's gonna get to the point where there's gonna be, weed in the casinos. It's gonna get there.
Eventually.
Slowly.
Especially if they have money in the game. So,
Mhm.
so we'll see how that goes. I think it's interesting. There's supposed to be, lines and stuff, around the corners and
Right.
and there's a lot of
today
specials.
and-
Like if you guys can look online or go check on Yelp or even Instagram, like they're showing like a few dispensaries that have food trucks coming out. It's like a whole day
Oh,
event.
nice. Yes.
Like a whole party
Yeah,
going down,
I don't
and
see
then there's
why
like
not.
sales specials. The only thing is, for our listeners to know, if you come out to Nevada, is between recreational and medical, is that with recreational you're gonna pay a higher premium, and you're gonna be able to buy less, just because that's the standard for recreational. But now, if you're a medical card holder, you'll be able to purchase more for a cheaper price, just because you're in medical need of it.
Mhm.
So there's a big difference right there. Just let you folks know in case you come out to Vegas with your medical card and whatnot.
Right.
Like if you come out to purchase recreationally,
You're gonna pay for it.
expect to pay the premium price.
Yeah.
Right.
Just pay
And
the
you can
store
only buy
value.
up to, I believe it's an ounce.
Yes, ounce. And then I think for medical, you're allowed almost up to 2 ounces, depending on if it's the weed itself or if it's edible
Or it's edibles. They have another.
or it's vape.
Yeah.
It's all broken down. Like everyone has a list ready to go for you to read.
Oh, okay.
It's interesting. I'll go and check it out. Probably not today. I'm gonna let it die down a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Especially 4th of July weekend right now.
Right.
The
True.
amount of people that are going to be in town this weekend. Oh, man.
It could be crazy. I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just remember though, you guys can't smoke it on hotel properties yet.
Not
If
on
they
the
like
strip.
you- Yep,
You
nothing
know,
on the
you
strip
can't
at all.
drive and smoke.
So,
you can't-
like regular neighborhood areas, are you able to publicly
Yeah.
smoke? So really,
On your own front yard.
Oh.
So like, say if you're a stoner, you need a place to smoke. Here, you can come to my place. Smoke in my front yard.
Right.
I just get a hit too, though.
I would imagine though that cops are really going to be out and about this weekend. Though I mean, besides 4th of July weekend, now this is happening. You think
Yeah.
they're really going to be kind of going out there? And
I imagine they're
Yeah,
gonna
it's just
they're
gonna-
gonna want to keep an eye on
it's gonna be a
how
lot
it's
of work.
going down.
It's gonna be a lot
Yeah.
of
Well,
work
they're
this
being
weekend.
so brand new today. Being that day right on time for the weekend. Like I would imagine it's gonna
It's definitely
Yeah,
a
it's gonna-
priority.
it's
So
gonna get a little
challenge.
out of hand. I would
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge for sure.
Yeah,
I
because
see
like
it.
you guys have discussed before, is that like this town has no moderation sometimes.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
it's just
sure.
everybody lives in excess out here. So I imagine someone is going to be out there and screwed up for everyone.
There's gonna be that one idiot. Yeah.
I mean,
well, we'll see. It's different here in Vegas than it is, say, in Colorado.
Yeah.
They don't have the same influx of people, and like you said, there's no moderation. So
well, this is a town of excess. Everybody comes here to let go of their inhibitions. So I would imagine, it would. If it's going to go out of hand anywwer, it's going to be in this town.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So hopefully,
guinea
relax.
pigs. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Interesting. We'll keep going. We'll keep it in. Sorry. we'll keep on that weed topic.
I'm just going
anyway
to do a
for
weekend
later.
of research and we'll get back to you on
There
that.
you go.
There you go.
So coming up, they agreed the Mayweather-McGregor fight is set for August.
Boo.
Anybody watching it here?
I ain't paying for it.
You're not paying for it?
Nope.
I'm not paying for it either. Like, it still seems interesting to me, only because if McGregor wins, then he kind of cancels out everybody else in boxing because nobody else could beat Mayweather, right? So wouldn't that be like a dagger to boxing?
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think so.
Nobody's
yeah,
given
I mean,
nobody's given McGregor a chance anyway.
I have faith in McGregor, but it's just this whole thing is just a circus. I mean, it's
It
too
is.
like WWE in a way where it's
A little
just
bit.
like
A little bit. It's more of a production now than it is about the fight.
Yeah, way more. It's not even about
Yeah.
the fight anymore. It's
Right.
just more about the media and just the spectacle of it as opposed to the actual nature of the fight itself.
All
It's no
the
longer about
smack
boxing.
talking.
It's about
Yeah.
the.
Yeah, it's all the smack talk.
yeah,
It's
the
all
event.
All the
promos.
drama.
It's all
The
it's
drama.
all money.
It's all it's
just
and no matter how the fight goes down, these guys are making $100 million.
yeah,
You know,
it really
that's what
doesn't
it
matter
is.
to them in the end
No.
at all. These guys are going to make their
If
millions.
Floyd loses, he retires and he's going to be 49 and
He
1.
doesn't-
He's
it's a
still gonna
win-win
be
situation for
fucking,
him either way.
bajillion dollars.
Yeah.
For that. Mayweather wins. I'm sorry, McGregor wins. He kind of becomes the face of fighting basically
Yeah.
because he's already conquered MMA. And maybe he switches into boxing. Who knows? I don't know. It's an interesting situation, but it's going down in
Right.
Vegas.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
So did they establish where the fight is going to be after?
I
discussed last week?
imagine MGM Grand, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. Just like I said, I'm not.
Well,
looking to
hopefully-
give him my
hopefully
money.
you're not-
I would go somewhere to watch it, but
Yeah.
but I'm not going to host an event like I did for the Mayweather
Yeah.
Pacquiao fight.
Yeah,
Never
and I-
again.
And I
That
view
was-
it more as an entertainment thing as opposed to an actual sport.
Yeah.
I don't look at it as a sport right now
Right.
at this point, the way it is.
Now it's crossed the line into WCW.
Yeah, it's pure
Yeah.
entertainment. At this point, it's no longer the nature of the sport.
Well, speaking of sports, we unveiled a brand new UNLV logo.
We did.
Yay.
How
It's
you
been
guys,
a
how do you guys
minute.
feel about it? You guys dig it?
There's been a lot of negative press that I've seen.
A lot of controversy.
But when I first saw it, I actually really liked it.
I thought it was pretty smart.
Yeah, it's definitely a graphical design as compared to the cartoon vibe of the original one.
But Adam, you want to tell the listeners the price tag for that little design?
Apparently, UNLV was charged $50,000 for this design.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I was telling Adam.
I'm like, wow.
He should get that contract, Adam. You should get that contract.
Jesus.
Well, like I said, I kind of like the design. It sparked some memories for me. The shape of the logo is actually taken from the Las Vegas welcome sign.
Yep.
And I didn't realize that at first, but in my mind, I kind of had realized that.
It's familiar.
It's
seems
familiar, yeah. It's got this kind of it's got this red star in the shape of the Las Vegas sign. It's got the Rebels face kind of on a side profile. I don't know. I guess if you know what you're looking at, I think it's cool.
Well,
but,
like you
but
just-
the fact that you have to explain it to people,
Right, yeah.
that's what kills it.
Yeah, exactly like you said.
Yeah.
If you know what you're looking at, it is pretty cool. But when I first looked at it, I'm like, it's kind of hard to make out what it is. I mean, I get what it is and what they're going for, but
Right.
the colors don't really help. I think they're too dull. I mean, the red is a nice touch, but like it's gray and black, and it's very hard to kind of make out what exactly it is you're looking at. And then, like I mentioned earlier too, my wife happened to point out it does resemble the neighborhood watch sign just a little bit, I think. But overall, I think it's fine. I don't hate it. It's just it's not very wowing to me. I mean, I don't know.
I just wonder, will this new logo help UNLV football?
No.
Because
Yeah, we're still gonna have a bad team.
No, we're still gonna suck.
Because
and they'll-
it's been a rough couple of years, guys. Not gonna lie.
A
It's
couple.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be nice. Okay, a few years, centuries. I don't know. It's been rough. Okay,
No,
it's been rough for
quit being
UNLV
so
football.
PC. We suck. Let's just put it that
Yeah,
way.
we haven't had a good football team since the early '90s, I
Yeah.
think, and before that, long before
How
that.
many times
so-
do we change the coaches? How many times do we get a new head coach every year?
As many as we do players.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it's pretty
man.
bad.
I don't think I think I've maybe been to 2 UNLV games. More basketball games than football games. But
Exactly.
I love
Everyone,
football games.
everyone knows
yeah.
about the
Basketball,
UNLV
yeah.
basketball
Yeah.
more.
I went
Oh,
to
yeah.
one UNLV football game against Reno, and Reno won.
There you
like
go.
in our home turf. So, yeah,
You're like, that was lame.
That sounds pretty Vegas.
it was pretty lame. Yeah.
Just like the logo. I don't know.
Logo's not
I
too
kind
bad,
of
dude.
dig it. It's
I say I don't hate it.
Like
it's
we
fine.
said, guys. You guys just for the listeners, look it up. make your own
Yeah, look
judgment
it up.
call.
I'm random.
You leave a comment. I like to hear your comments
Yeah.
about the logo.
See if
See
you
how
like
you
it,
guys
see if you
feel
like
about it.
See if you know what it looks like. Describe it to us.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
Yeah, what do you see? It's like a Rorschach image.
Yeah,
almost.
exactly.
Exactly. Someone's gonna be like, I see butterflies.
Maybe.
Good
Should
times,
we move on
Yogi.
to the good stuff? My favorite.
Your favorite? What is
The-
your favorite, man?
The movie segment, bro.
movies.
The
Yeah,
movies.
We all love movies
Yeah.
here.
We've seen a few
Um,
trailers this week. Couple hits.
Couple
Couple
of,
misses.
couple of news.
Ooh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Do we start with the good stuff or the bad stuff? What do you
Well,
guys think?
let's start with the good stuff.
let's-
Let's start
okay,
with
okay.
let's start with Foreigner.
The Foreigner.
Yeah, this is a new Jackie Chan movie.
Oh, dude,
We all-
it looks intense.
Yeah, it does look intense.
It's like the fact that it's him against Pierce Brosnan, aka James Bond.
Yeah.
Like it looks good, dude. It looks good.
I like that he just straight calls him out. He's like, I don't believe that you know. or,
Yeah,
It's
know
like-
anything about the bombing
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
My
I
daughter's
believe you.
dead.
no, and he looks totally badass.
Yeah.
He looks kind of old, but he still looks.
Well,
like
it kind
he
of
can
reminds
kick
you of
your-
like a Death Wish kind of
Yeah.
vibe.
Yeah,
Charles
yeah.
Bronson. Yeah.
It's a revenge movie. Like,
yeah, man.
he's basically he warned you. He's showing you that he can get to
This
you.
is like an Asian Taken.
There you go. There you go. Except his daughter's dead. Wah wah.
Oh.
Spoiler alert, guys.
There's
Trailer.
Right,
a
right.
trailer. But no, that looks good. I'm excited for it. But there's been a lot of controversy though because of the title. Apparently.
Okay,
for
yeah,
being called
I
The
understand
Foreigner.
that. The Foreigner with an Asian lead could maybe come across a little weird, but Foreigner doesn't necessarily have to mean Asian.
It's
even though
not
he's
like a
in that
racist
scene,
term. It just means you're not of
Of
the
the-
location.
right.
I mean, so that's really if I go to another country, I'm a foreigner. I mean, like
Exactly.
this goes back into the whole PC thing where people are just overly
it's not
sensitive.
too bad.
Exactly,
Like, yeah,
exactly.
The Foreigner, it's not too bad. I mean, Jet Li did one where he was in the UK in a fight like Interpol. I think it's called Kiss of the Dragon
Okay. Yep.
Is that the one?
Yep.
Maybe.
with Jet Li. Yeah, he's a foreigner in there too. That wasn't too bad. You know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
I mean, I think it's just because the title is called The Foreigner
Right.
and your main actor is Jackie Chan. And of
I guess
course-
it's better than the Chinaman.
Yeah. Exactly. yeah.
yeah, I mean, it could have gone in a much worse direction. So I say, like, the foreigner isn't referring to
Yeah.
any sort of racial slur in any sort of way. It's just
Right.
referring to somebody that
He
not of the
literally
land.
is. Yeah,
little
it's not-
little side note for you guys. I was actually referred to as Chinaman by good old Johnny Brennan for at least 2 years.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
oh yeah. When he would bring his female guests upstairs, and I'm working projections, he'll be
Oh
like,
my god!
"Oh, this is my friend, the Chinaman. Yeah, man, we're cool." And
Telling
he'll
you.
fist bump.
Yeah, fist bump. Right. Like
and
he-
I'm like,
like, he didn't know
bro.
anyway. Did he know your name, Fuchs? Because
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I actually went to his high-rise condo one time to repair like his closet one time with Alex,
Yeah.
our supervisor at the time. Yeah, that was weird. I don't know. I mean, he just like kind of he's a very
Yeah,
like just
he's-
snobbish kind of bro.
Yeah.
Kind of dude,
Totally.
like, no sleeves.
Kind of a
I don't
little
think
weird.
I don't think he has any shirts that have sleeves. And then he was a big fist bumper. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
never
No, he was a
shook his hand.
germaphobe for
Yeah.
sure. So he
Right,
did not
right,
shake hands.
Just fist bump.
Fist bump. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a little
He
weird.
called you a Chinaman? What the? That's like such
Yeah,
a
it
lazy slander too. It's like it's calling you're a man, but you're from China. That's basically what he's calling
Yeah.
you. Like it's,
It's
I
my.
was so
It's like Trump calling out the one black
I
guy in
was
the
so,
audience.
like-
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my African American right there.
I was so dumbfounded. I was like, really,
Wow.
Chinaman, bro?
he could have called you the foreigner at least. You know?
See,
But-
see, it's better now.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways,
so
yeah.
next one, Death Note. I know it was an anime. I
Yes.
haven't seen any of
You've
it.
never seen Death Note?
I've
Oh.
never seen Death Note.
I
know it
think
had
the American version looks like shit.
had a couple of
Just
movies,
say
right?
that right now.
That are Japanese movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a couple Japanese
Um,
movies weren't too bad. The only saving grace from the trailer so far for Death Note is William Dafoe as a Shinigami. Like
Yeah.
him being the Shinigami, the voice
It's almost
matches.
perfect, right?
Yeah, it's pretty perfect.
From what I do know of it, that's a good casting.
Yeah.
And
That's
just his
the only
creepy
one
voice.
good
Yeah.
casting.
That's really
Yeah.
is the best thing that I've
Um,
seen in this trailer is Defoe as Ryuk.
Yeah.
The voice and just and it's hard to see what the character looks like because he's covered in shadow, but from what you can
Mhm.
tell, it
It's
looks
kind of
very-
dead on.
It looks very very
Yeah.
good actually.
So Sam, tell us a little bit about the Notebook. What is Death Note?
Death Note is an anime about this guy. His name is Light. He comes into this notebook where if you write a name in it, someone dies. Like was it 5 minutes later? or-
Well, I mean, yeah, if you don't
Timeline.
specify the cause of
Yeah,
death,
yeah.
they die of natural causes or of a heart attack
Yeah.
after so long. But yeah, you can specify to the point, like they're going to die on this date at this time because of this reason, and it'll happen.
Okay.
And the concept behind it, the Shinigami that Sam mentioned, is a god of death. And so he basically drops his book on Earth out of boredom, just to cause chaos,
Just to
and
see what
would
happens.
happen. And this kid, Light Yagami, he picks it up, and he's a really like prodigy, smart kid. in school. His dad's a detective.
His
So
counter.
so he tries to use it for good, right?
Yeah.
tries to, but he
But
gets
in
hurt with
the
power.
end, he's still
Right.
killing people.
And that's the beauty of the show, though. It starts off as like him just doing doing right and doing what he feels is justice.
Because you're rooting for him.
And then power becomes corruption over time. And by the end of it, the arc is just it's fantastic. It's
But
an
also,
absolutely amazing show.
his counterpart is L.
Yeah.
This brilliant guy that survives on sugar and sits in his chair like all weird.
Yeah.
But then you see this trailer, and their version of L is way different. Like it's not about the L like being a different type of ethnicity. It's just the content of L alone. Like,
was he more of a spirit?
no. In this trailer, he's wearing like a face mask or something to cover his face.
His face is partially
and a hoodie.
obscured.
And a hoodie, and I'm like, that's not how L is. L, like,
Well, maybe they'll reveal him later.
Well, I just personally don't feel that the show translates well to an American
audience.
Yeah, for the American translation, because I mean, like, just from what I've gathered, like I said, the original show, like the character of Light, he's a brilliant, like like smart, like good-looking kid. Like he's popular because in Japanese standards, like the smart guy
he
is
has
the popular
J-pop
guy.
hair.
Yeah,
Right.
and in the American show, it just
He's a nerd.
It looks like a bullied kind of like kid, like he's getting the fights and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and it looks like it's going to become like
He's
this
borderline emo kid.
yeah,
almost.
this emo kid is pushed around and finds this source of power to kind of do justice in his own way, where it'll be a more typical revenge story as opposed to like the Brilliance, where this guy's doing justice, and of course he gets caught up in his own his killings.
Yeah,
and
he
it
drank too
corrupts
much
him.
of his own Kool-Aid.
Yeah, and it becomes corrupted, and it becomes
So-
this crazy.
So are you guys afraid that Hollywood's going to bastardize this one?
I think it's already ruined. I
I mean, better or worse than Ghost in the Shell?
I haven't seen Ghost in the Shell yet.
Worse.
Well, see, like I'll be honest, I'm curious to see what they do with it, but I'm not excited for it.
Right.
I think image-wise, it looks interesting. It looks more like a Final Destination movie, like where I see like random accidents and like like shock deaths are going on, as opposed
I'll watch
to
it for sure because it's on Netflix, so
Yeah.
that's easy.
Yeah, because the other one, the show has more of like a noir kind of just dark mystery vibe to it. Like
Yeah.
it's great. Like you should really watch it. It has
For
great
anyone that's
atmosphere.
interested, to listeners, I'd recommend you watch the anime first, all the way through,
Absolutely.
and then the Japanese movies, and then maybe watch the American trailer.
Yeah, it's all on Netflix too, so you can watch the original show on
Okay.
Netflix.
Yeah.
So yeah,
English
definitely
dubbed?
check it out. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, but regardless, even if you watch it subtitled, it's still great. It's not one
It's
of
worth
those.
it.
Yeah, there's a lot of good imagery, but it's not like you're watching Dragon Ball where it's so.
You're watching
fast,
it for its storyline, the storyline itself, because like, the cat and mouse game between Light and L is so amazing. It's down to a T.
Yeah.
Like there are so many traps where L sets up for Light, and he almost falls into it, but then somehow he counters it last second. You're like, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. Or how Light will set up traps for L, and he kind of sees it like 5 steps ahead, but then still gets twisted, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah, it's a
Like
very
the
smart
chess.
show. Yeah.
It's a chess movie or a
And
TV
another
show.
thing that doesn't make sense to me, also, if you notice in the trailer, there's like graffiti of Kira. That's what they call him in the show. He's actually dubbed Kira, which is like I think Japanese saying for killer. Which doesn't make sense to me. If the show takes place in America, why
Right.
is he being called Kira?
Right.
It just doesn't
Unless
make sense.
unless these American audiences know of Akira, then that's different.
It-
but
They call him
I
I
Akira.
doubt it.
But
Yeah,
it,
right.
it just doesn't make any
We
sense.
don't know
to me.
the
So, I
Japanese
don't know. Like I said,
translation, though.
I'm curious of it, but I'm not excited.
We'll just see how it translates
Yeah.
into
no,
an
no,
American
no. Here's the
movie.
tough part. Transition next. Do we go into Inhumans or Jumanji? Your call, guys.
Well, let's just kill Jumanji real quick. That trailer just looks like garbage to me.
Okay.
The whole thing. I am usually a big fan of The Rock. And honestly, Kevin Hart's still pretty funny to me, even though all he does is short jokes. But the fact that they go into a video game instead of using the
that
original
caught me off guard,
board
bro.
game, like, it just looks like a cash grab again. Like
It
Hollywood
bummed
didn't
me
have
out.
anything
It
better.
bummed me out knowing that it's a video game movie, but I'll still watch it just because The Rock's in it, and also Karen Gillian. Because I mean, she's on the eyes.
Yeah.
That's a wig, by the way.
Nebula, huh?
That's a wig, by the way.
Yeah, for Nebula.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so for me, I have a love-hate thing going on with this trailer. Actually, I actually kind of like this trailer. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest with you, but I hate it at the same time because it's called Jumanji.
Right.
I think honestly, if I didn't see that first 20 seconds where they announce what it is, I would have been okay with this. This
Right.
is more Tron to me than it is Jumanji.
Yeah, huh?
Where they're going
Like,
into this
this is
video
it.
game.
Don't call it Jumanji.
And it's actually, I was honestly kind of laughing a little
the
bit.
concept's kind of cool. The
Yeah.
concept is kind of cool.
Well, because like I started off watching it and I was pissed off immediately. I'm like, no, this is not Jumanji. And then it went on and I actually started laughing at a few jokes, And again, like you said, Kevin Hart's kind of the
Well,
same
all right.
character
So
in
the
every
only
movie,
thing that's
but-
funny about it now is they go into this game and they've transported bodies, right? And that's
Yeah.
the whole joke. Is you got the hot chick in Jack Black's body,
Yes.
and the big jockey black guy, and he's Kevin Hart now.
He's a short guy.
That's the only
and
thing
then
that's
the
going to
nerdy
be
guy,
funny about this
well,
movie is
then
how
the
they
nerdy
react
guy's
to
the
each other.
buff guy.
Yeah.
And then
But like that's why I think it's kind of funny because seeing The Rock, act like a little kid, like don't cry,
I'm gonna
don't
cry.
Like, I think it's kind of funny. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I was enjoying it. It's just the fact that they called it Jumanji is unnecessary. This didn't need to be called Jumanji. This
I
could have
see
been
that.
its
I feel
own
you.
thing. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if this was anything but Jumanji, I think everybody would have
It would
a
be
different
fun.
take on it.
Right.
Yeah, but
I think it'll be a fun family movie, but for the audience, the core audience that's so used to Jumanji that we saw with Robin Williams,
they are
we're
spitting
hurt.
on Robin
Oh,
Williams'
we're,
grave. on
we're,
this
we're
one.
hurt.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
hurt pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like Chris said, I'm agree with Chris 100%. If you name this movie something else, like Jungle Adventures or something,
Yep.
anything.
I'm behind it. I'm
Yeah.
behind it.
Yep.
But the fact that you slapped the title Jumanji and it made it into video game style,
It don't make any
Yeah.
sense.
Like
a
unless
little
they actually
hurtful.
make a connection at some point, I guess I'll understand why they call it Jumanji. But
Yeah.
like literally, if you just took out that one little scene, you would never know that this is Jumanji. It doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. So, but honestly, as a film, it looks entertaining.
Right.
I mean, I actually like the cast as a whole. I like Jack Black. I like Kevin Hart.
Right.
I like Karen Gillan.
It's gonna be funny.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an entertaining.
But the fact
movie.
that it has Jumanji on the title, yeah, I agree.
That's
with
what
you.
kind of
It's-
messes me up with that. So, but we'll see. I mean,
well,
who knows?
Well, if I get free tickets, I'll let you guys know.
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
of
I
course.
still want to watch it. Like I said, I'm actually genuinely curious. I just don't like that it's being called Jumanji, and that's just
Sure.
my opinion on that.
There you go.
Well,
I
here's
agree,
a rough
man.
one. Here's a rough one. The saturation market of superheroes. How you feel about those guys?
Well, they're
Humans
putting,
coming
all right,
out.
So they're putting out Inhumans, and they're gonna put out like a movie version on IMAX first, before they transfer into like the TV show.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, they have way too much going on in TV for superheroes. I'm way behind on all these shows.
Yeah.
I've had to scratch a bunch. Inhumans, I don't know a whole lot about, to be honest. So for me to want to jump onto this series too, it's going to have a really good opening.
I'm sure our friend Jose would have a lot to say about Inhumans. He'll either text us about it or he should leave some comments on our page.
Well, this trailer to me, honestly, this looks like ass.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know like a whole lot of Inhumans, but I know enough to
All right,
say that when I watch
tell
this,
me,
this does not
tell
make
me your
think of
cons. Tell me your pros and cons.
Inhumans. Pros? Well, we got Ramsey Bolton in there with this weird ass accent. I'm not really sure what he was going for with that, but they're obviously like relying on him to carry this
To
film
be the
because
bad
he
guy.
had the majority of the dialogue in this
Sure,
movie.
it's true.
But just like when I'm looking at it, like I know enough about the Inhumans to understand, what they are. They all live on the moon. They live in a city called Atalan, and they're all basically they're kind of like sort of X-Men-ish, where their powers are bestowed upon them by this process called Terrigenesis.
Yeah.
And they all basically get a random mutation. So some guy could
And
literally
they've covered this on S.H.I.E.L.D. a little bit.
exactly. Yeah, they've been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where you can have a totally cursed power, where you could be a fucking door,
Right.
and then you're literally a doorway that teleports people, or you can have some crazy awesome powers. The main character, Black Bolt, played by oh man, I totally forgot his name from
Hell's on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels, yeah. But he's playing the character Black Bolt, who is not mute. He doesn't speak because his power comes through his voice. He has
Yeah, he
his
can't
sonic
talk.
projection. Yeah, so where he can literally
Gotcha.
level cities through a whisper.
Is that why he's got a
doesn't speak.
tuning fork on his head?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, in a way. And the thing about his character also, he's very stoic and just very just a powerful looking figure. And in this trailer, he's like
Didn't
looking
sell
extremely
that.
pouty.
You know,
he's like super pouty. I'm
I
like, what are you
didn't
doing?
really like their costume design.
They're so bland.
It looked kind of like a first-rate X-Men design, like X-Men 1 movie.
Yeah.
I feel like they could do better.
Yeah, the color scheme of this trailer is just like pure black and gray until they get to Hawaii, of course. And then there's Medusa in the back in the pink, or purple
Right.
dress in her.
Right.
Awful
And she didn't do
wig.
anything with the
A
hair. which is
terrible
weird.
wig, yeah. And that hair is supposed to be that hair is alive, basically.
Yeah, it's supposed
It
to be
has its
crazy
own
like Spawn's
powers.
cape,
It looks, yeah, exactly. It has this terrible wig look
See,
to it.
The only thing I liked was the big dog.
Oh yeah. Lockjaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's his power. He basically teleports you. But even then, the effects on that just look
A little
very-
cheesy.
eh. And I get it. It is more based for TV because the first 2 episodes are going to be played in IMAX, and I think it's like an 8-episode series. The rest is going to go to ABC. But I feel like even with ABC, like with having Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they did a better display of the Inhumans. Like if you look at the trailer on this again, everybody looks so human. Like everybody looks so normal, and
Right.
then a lot of them
Right.
they're supposed to be disfigured or just like crazy, like looking. And I was kind of hoping for more of a sci-fi, like fun kind of thing.
And this looks more like just
Well,
an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. spinoff.
This looks like a fan-made film.
Yeah.
Well,
Like it just looks kind of cheap.
Listen, guys, just to let you know, it's only gonna get worse because Sci-Fi has officially greenlit and already casted for Krypton. You heard about that, right?
Before we go there, I got to go back and rant about this still.
Oh no! I'll agree with you. The one shout out I do have though for ABC for Agent Shields this season was Ghost Rider. I think they did a pretty good job for Ghost Rider this season.
No, I think TV is
effects-
perfectly
the
capable of
effects was
doing a
good.
lot of
The
things.
effects
It's
really
just,
good.
but also the showrunner on this is also the showrunner for Iron Fist, Scott Buck.
Oh no!
So yeah, and
we've all heard the bad news about that.
and he's already made a lot of quotes on Inhumans, how he's trying to ground him, make him more human, like more relatable. But you don't need to do that. Like you don't need them. They're inhuman for a reason. That's what
Right.
makes them fun. That's
Yeah.
what makes them
Stick
colorful
to the
characters.
comics. How
And if
hard
I-
is that?
Yeah, and if I think I saw his his track record also, I think he also did the later half of Dexter also.
Okay.
So
Which
and
was when
so
I
he-
fell off on it.
Yeah,
you
when
know?
it
So
went
he
to shit,
gave,
basically.
Yeah.
he gave me that shitty ending.
Yeah, I don't know specifically where he got involved, but I from what I read, he was actually more
I
involved
was
in the later
so
seasons.
fucking
Nice.
pissed
I hated
with the ending
how
of Dexter.
ended. But,
It's so fucking retarded.
but anyways, that's why I like Inhumans. I want it to be good. It just doesn't. It
It's
you,
not
you know,
impressive
you know
at
what we
all.
need to do. You know what we need to do. We just need to get the writers from Lost to do fucking Inhumans. We'll be fine. You get the guys from Lost. Oh, dude, they will fucking.
Jamie would hate it.
That's fine. At least the three of us will enjoy it.
and we
You
still
know what I
touch
mean?
on Lost still.
I'm just saying,
you got to get lost in LA.
If you get those writers, I'm sure they'll take Inhumans and make it magical. I'm sure they can do that.
I hope so. Fingers
Yeah.
crossed, man. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Uh,
We'll see.
You're
all
so
right.
bitter. You're so bitter. To look in your face,
it
bro.
just looks.
We'll,
it's
we'll
just
come,
disappointing,
we'll come
man.
back to.
I think it's funny that we're off camera this week because all our facial expressions from all different subjects, like
And also,
You guys
also,
are- you guys
one
are
last
missing
final
out.
thing. The very last thing at the end where you got to see a display of Black Bolt's powers, where he gets like gut punched, or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like he like grunts and like that should level the city.
Hmm.
What does it do? It flips one fucking car over.
right? I was like,
Yeah.
that's
Like,
bullshit.
are you
Like,
That's
that was
such
it.
bullshit.
Like that's it. Like no, I'm sorry. He's one of the more powerful, imposing figures in the Marvel world. Not the most powerful character, but
He's up there.
He does
He's
more than
fucking up
that.
there.
Yes.
But he can
Yeah.
level a city if he chose to.
Yes.
Right.
With a whisper. If he
Interesting.
grunted like that, I'm sorry. That city would be gone. Everybody would be
That's
dead.
why
around him.
he can't make out with the ladies. You know, he's killer.
Yeah.
Bang. On that note, all right. So let's move on to our last topic here, Area 52.
Sounds
I want to talk a little bit about gambling because Vegas, we could bet on anything.
good. Gambling? What's that? Is that where I lose my life savings or my kids' education money?
That's when you gamble. You do a prop bet on the Super Bowl for 1,000 to 1 odds for $20 and never see your money again.
Yeah.
So I looked up a couple of crazy gambling stories, and one of the more popular ones I found was in 1980 there was a Las Vegas hospital that had to actually suspend people because they were betting on when people would die.
Wow.
So they even accused a nurse of actually
Yes.
committing murder on a patient so she would win a bet.
AKA Deadpool.
Can you believe that? Yeah,
it's
Deadpool.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was.
So yeah, crazy, right?
Wow.
So you can bet on anything in Vegas, even
This
hospital.
doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Honestly.
Honestly, that's just the way this city works.
That's
you know?
that's the nature of just human nature just in general, and then with the city, and then what it thrives on.
people
gambling.
on their off time. I used to work in the casino, and all the dealers on their off time, they would go to the sports book,
Mhm.
and they would spend all their tip money on bets.
Right.
So I can only imagine that one of these dealers, eventually got into the hospital, right? And they were like, let's make bets, and then they're like, this is a great idea.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me one bit. I mean, do we know what hospital this was, or
No, I didn't go that far into it.
All right. I would imagine it's not around anymore, right?
Probably not. I'm sure
I
they
would hope
had a
not.
hefty lawsuit if that came out.
Wow.
Another one, Frederick W. Smith, the founder and CEO of FedEx, saved his company by gambling, by playing blackjack. He took his last $5,000, and he had a $24,000 bill that he had to pay,
Oh, wow.
and he turned this $5,000 into enough money to pay his bill.
Really?
Yep, yep. FedEx
Wow.
CEO come to Vegas
And when
just
was
to
this?
continue his. Didn't have a date on that one. I imagine though it was pretty recent.
Really?
We'll see. I'll look that one up for the next podcast. But yeah, interesting. Like you can, if you're down on your lucks, man, you can definitely
Come out to Vegas.
hope-
Turn it
hopefully
around.
turn it around.
Don't
A lot of
encourage
people
that
lose their
behavior,
shirts.
yeah.
They say so. Like this guy, Ashley Revel. Guy took all of his life savings. He sold his clothes, his car, everything. Came to Vegas, bet it all on one spin of roulette. and won. Thank God.
Wow.
He had $135,000. That was his entire life savings, and he was going to roll it on one roll.
You think this guy had like nothing to lose at this
I
point?
can
Like
only
he was
imagine.
maybe on the verge of just jumping.
I can only imagine if he lost he would commit suicide. I don't even know.
Because I don't see what would drive someone to that point where like I'm just going to bet everything I have unless you're just done, unless you're at the end of your rope.
And luckily the guy won. You know, he didn't get the best odds. He only doubled his money. You know, red or black.
Still,
that's just. I think that's ballsy for those odds.
That is extremely ballsy on roulette. I mean, like,
on the worst.
At least
game,
with blackjack, it's like sort of a 50-50 thing. Like you're either going to win or lose. You know.
Yeah, red or black. Red or black.
That's
crazy, right?
Nuts.
Another one also on roulette. There was a TV show pretty recently called The Buried Life, where this group of guys, you know, had basically a bucket list, and they would go around and do stupid things.
Okay.
Well, they bet $250,000, which was the biggest roulette bet ever, and lost it.
Ooh.
Congrats.
On TV.
Ooh. Congrats, guys.
So how shitty do you think they felt?
I'm sure the next thing they went to, or next place, was McDonald's dollar menu.
Right there on the strip, right?
Yeah. They're like, can we go to McDonald's? Let's get a dollar menu. Yeah.
Talk about a shame burger. My God.
Yeah, wow, right? And there's also... I was looking at $1 million bets, and every year, you know, Super Bowl time, there's always a handful of $1 million bets in Vegas. You know, more common are the $100,000 bets, obviously. There was a guy that bet $1 million at Benny Binions back in the day. That was the biggest bet taken at the time.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, if you have the money, Vegas will take your bet. Trust me.
Oh yeah, they'll take any and all bets. This city does not bias towards your money.
Yeah, and there's always something to bet on.
Exactly.
You know, if you wanted to bet how fast, this woman would cross the street, somebody would take it.
Well, they'll take bets like on Super Bowl stuff too, like where like how long will the national anthem last?
Yeah, sure.
Or like who will they hit this note or the stupid things like that.
First person to
all
score.
The prop bets.
Yeah.
Will it be a field goal? You know, who wins the coin toss?
Yeah, you can literally bet on anything. Pretty much.
So very interesting.
Yeah. Do any of you guys gamble? Like, have you
not
ever gone
anymore.
through a phase where you ever gambled?
I played a lot of poker when I was a dealer, and I do enjoy poker a lot more than blackjack. I think blackjack's a little bit more luck.
Right. Yeah.
It also depends on who you're sitting with and who's betting. Yeah. So I like poker. It's a little more of a skill game.
Yeah.
But that's all I play. That's all I play.
That's pretty much as far as I'll go, because I do have a lot of friends. They like to go to the casino on their breaks or whatever, and they'll go go bet.
Or the sports book, pretty popular. Like I said, all the dealers I worked with would go and spend their day's money at the.
Or they'll all talk about their tickets.
Bets.
Like, oh yeah, I need to hit this spread right here. So like, it's it's just part of the city.
Yep.
It's such a regular thing.
Yep. But we love it, and that's Vegas.
That's Vegas.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
That's how we do it here.
That's how they roll. Get it? Like
well,
nice.
Wink.
Thanks everybody for listening and watching. It's been a great episode. We enjoyed it. You can catch us on the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean apps, iTunes, YouTube. Please download, like, and subscribe. Thanks, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you again.
The Pod Bay Door is closed.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.